jam around. Folks, welcome into the High Council here on World Class Bullshitters. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me tonight is Mary Mayhem.
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm ready for you tonight. I've prepared myself.
Mm-hmm. Tell me again.
Yeah, you're prepared for nothing.
Wow, you're a monster.
And tonight, folks, we're also joined by our good friend, Culture Casino.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for having me. This is great. I'm excited.
So, folks, we have a fun show to talk about tonight. We're going to be talking about the Taika Waititi rumors. We're going to be talking about the J.J. Abrams lack of a plan, as well as some other fun things. But, yeah, it's been a minute, Culture, since we've last streamed together. Anything crazy and new happen in your neck of the woods?
Oh, no, I got the chance to get away. I took, a break from YouTube, but not really because, I pre-recorded a thing and I was ready when I came back. So you know how that is when you get punished with YouTube if you take time off. And so I have another thing coming up in a week. But yeah, I mean, nothing extraordinary. It's been busy, and we've had a lot to cover. And we're going to cover more of it tonight. I'm pretty sure. Sounds like.
Oh yeah. Folks, I just got back from New Jersey. Yay! I was trying to hang out with Cecil, but we're going to make that happen a little later over the summer. But if I sound a little out of it, folks, it's because I'm just beat. Travel's cool and all, but I'm tired. So we're going to have a fun show. It's going to be a little loopy, a little weird.
Buffalo Jeff might choke a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah. Prepare your buttholes, folks. It's going to be a clenched up evening.
No.
Oh, Mary.
What?
It's going to be okay. I think you're going to make it through tonight, okay?
I'll be fine. I'm grown. I'm grown.
Okay.
I got my teddy bear. I have my teddy bear. I'm fine.
Well, your teddy bear might be fine. Do you think Taika Waititi would like your teddy bear?
I think Taika Waititi doesn't get to touch my things. I'm not trying to be super judgmental, but no, he can't touch my stuff.
Oh, God, nobody's judging the dude at all. I just find it fun. The thing I want to talk about is how, if this rumored stuff could be true, how hypocritical Disney might be for being upset about his own personal life decisions. I think it's kind of funny that they want to do and promote a lot of other things, but hey, guy's living his own life, whatever. That being said, I don't like Tessa Thompson, so.
Dude, she's such a pain in the ass, isn't she?
She is a nasty, evil human being. I did a video on her.
She seems very entitled and just generally speaking bitchy. And I don't like generally using that word, but it does seem applicable to her. She just seems like
some very strong hatred coming from some two very usually mild-mannered people. So.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
She's just a bitchy kind of gal.
Well, Men in Black International, everyone thought that was going to be like her big jumping off point into the next, like the leading role. Because what was she in? She's, supporting cast in Thor. I can't really think of her as the lead in many other movies. And then that one kind of shit the bed. And I was happy about it because it just looked dumb. Did you guys watch Men in Black International?
Hell no, I got shit to do.
No, that one was never going to pass the grade with me, just because there's no Will Smith, right? And
no, Chris Hemsworth with all his abs couldn't save that movie. It was bad. It was bad. Everyone disliked that movie. Nobody wanted to see it. It was so insanely woke, and there was nothing else to offer. So no, nobody liked that good movie.
Nobody liked it, but it. And here's the thing. I mean, you took a very successful property and then you smeared it on the wall.
Mm-hmm. What was it? There was something else that Will Smith was doing. He opted out of this movie, as I remember correctly, to do something else. What was it? Was it Independence Day? I'm trying to remember what it was.
No. Shoot, I couldn't even begin to tell you, but it wasn't that. Independence Day is a long time ago.
Yeah, 96.
Yeah.
No. The new Independence Day.
From a couple years back, Resurgence or whatever.
Oh, okay, never mind. Then that was something else. I got them confused.
I haven't even watched that one. Now, folks, real quick before we start talking about Taika Waititi's rumored sex life, why don't you guys join us in a game? Describe your sex life with a Star Wars quote. We can play this all night. Make us laugh. Now, Mary Culture, I know I caught you guys off guard with this question because I always like to do this to my fellow podcasters on a stream. So take your time, think about it. I'm going to use my favorite one that I use the other way.
I have
go
one.
ahead, Culture.
I love you. I know.
See, I don't feel like this describes it, but there was something that came into my mind, and it was, I'm not the committee! Which is, it doesn't describe it, but it does feel like I'm constantly at war with myself internally. And so I don't know why I was...
My personal favorite that I always use is, you came in that thing? You're braver than I thought.
Oh, shit!
Oh, my God. Wow, Jesse. Jesse's sitting right there. Oh, my.
Ah, she is right here.
I remember
Oopsie.
the weirder one, though.
What was yours?
Just was me, the boy, 2 droids, and no questions asked.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
weird. I think that kind of wins.
Yep.
It
Told
does.
you I had one.
Yeah.
It does.
Told
Are
I
you
had
trying to
one.
avoid any local trouble?
Oh, I'm trying to avoid Imperial entanglements.
Yeah, you might get in trouble with the Imperial Army with
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff. So, folks, we're going to be reading. That's only 2 meters wide. That's a very wide exhaust port, my friend.
Is
You're a hell of a man.
it too cliche to say I've got a bad feeling about this?
No, is it too cliched to say, look at the size of that thing? Cut the chatter, Red, too.
Oh, my.
Wow.
I don't know. Laugh it up, fuzzball just seems inappropriate right there.
It's this show. It's never inappropriate.
Scruffy looking.
Very good.
It's a trap.
Oh, I didn't know you got down like
Oh.
that, Mary. No judgment.
Nah! I was reading the chat. Kyle Greer's hideout. It's a trap. So,
Roger H.
Wow.
Negative. It didn't go in. It just impacted on the server. At that speed, we'd be able to pull out in time. Feel like Vegas
Oh my
came back
God.
home.
That's amazing.
Oh my God, this could be fun, folks. So do your worst and try to break us on the show. So what we're about to address is being talked about. There are photos, but this is a rumor. But we're going to talk about it as such because reasons. So a new rumor claims that Marvel Studios and Disney reprimanded Thor: Love and Thunder director Taika Waititi after racy photos surfaced of him with Rita Ora and Thor: Love and Thunder actress Tessa Thompson. Twitter user The Foxy Panda shared a number of photos that appear to show Ora, Waititi, and Thompson kissing each other and having a laugh. And you guys can look up the photos right there. These come from May 25th. And so Vanity Fair writer Emily Kirkpatrick also notes that another man who was on the balcony with Waititi, Ora, and Thompson also kissed Thompson on the same day. And that comes from a blue check mark.
It's one big giant like booty fest, which is fine, right? Because they're grown, and that's fine. The rumor comes in where the question involving Marvel Studios saying, well, this isn't representative of a studio, and we're not sure that we're comfortable with you engaging in this kind of behavior. That's where the rumor comes in.
Mary, that's where I have the issue, even with any of this situation. Because, like, you know what? If this dude wants to... just because I don't agree on your tastes, cool for you, man. You want to have 2 girlfriends at the same time? Awesome. More power to you. You want to live that life? Fine. No judgment. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't make me want to see your movies anymore or any less. But I do think it's hypocritical that if this rumor is possibly true, that Disney and Marvel would have issues with this, but then ideologically get into bed with all sorts of other problems. Kind of hypocritical, if you ask me.
You said get into bed.
It's the theme of tonight.
That's because they can't sell this to China.
Oh.
No, that's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. Is that Disney puckers up, right? They clench their booty hole every time it comes to considering how it is that China might react, right? It's why they shrink people on posters. It's why they delete gay kisses from movies. It's why they do everything in terms of what it is that they send over to China, right? They clench their booty holes tighter than that 2 meter across hole.
All they really need to do is just get John Cena to make a statement for them.
Oh wow! I heard they were watching that too. I heard they were watching that too. But
Gosh.
It's really bizarre because this comes from the same company that's lauding this sort of gay kiss over in the Eternals. Oh, we're so proud of this, and you can sign off and check mark that gay lifestyle, right? But at the end of the day, it's not just gay lifestyle, right? It's any consenting adult relationship. And like I'm not saying for myself that this is something that I would engage in. I'm saying it's none of your damn business, Disney. With one possible exception, and that's the potential power dynamic between Tessa Thompson and Taika Waititi. Now, that comes into play, and I kind of have questions about how does that work on the set? Is that okay? You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be a power dynamic there.
Well, that's
So if I can jump in for a second, from my perspective and from my experiences in the actor world, yeah, it is always crossing that line of authority when you have a director actor kind of thing. I had those questions too with Natalie Portman and the dude in Black Swan and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like they're adults, and it's if you cannot demonstrate that something inappropriate or abusive is going on, it's like whatever. I personally think that the person in the position of authority should tread very lightly and is probably overstepping their bounds in those situations, but that's between those people.
You're right, Jesse. You're right to be concerned about the power dynamic here. This is what Joss Whedon, not on the sexual side of things, but this is what he was kind of accused of doing, just, in a different way.
While they may not be doing anything wrong, if something explodes in this situation, he's the one who's going to get go down for it.
Yeah, that's true.
Having the more responsibility in a position of
very
authority.
true.
So the article says, following the photos that hit the internet last week, a report from Australia's The Daily Telegraph via The Independent claims that Marvel bosses have reportedly reprimanded the Kiwi filmmaker for the photograph. As The Independent reports, an insider close to Thor Love and Thunder's production told the publication that the behavior exhibiting the photo is not exactly the image they're looking for to project in relation to one of their biggest franchises. The source also detailed that Waititi crossed the line despite having a reputation for being a party animal. It's hard to imagine this type of behavior would offend anyone at Marvel Studios, but anyway, so this is where the opinion stuff comes in. But that was it. That's what we have heard so far.
Yeah, but I mean, you hired a party animal. You made this decision. You knew this going in, right? It's one of the reasons why. And look, I'm not signing off on Taika Waititi's personal life. He doesn't need me to. I'm not his mother, right? No. Taika Waititi is a grown ass man, and what comes with Taika Waititi, you signed off on what some would call genius, right? He took this 2-bit Marvel property, Guardians of the Galaxy, and he turned it into something absolutely phenomenal, right? This man has made you billions of dollars. You owe this guy a lot for that sort of eccentric behavior, that eccentric personality, right? So you signed off on that whenever you decided to bring him on, and now you're concerned about his personal life, this personal aspect of his life that ultimately doesn't impact you any further than how far it gets out. As I understand it, these pictures were taken in Australia, right? On his private balcony, in his private residence, not exactly behind closed doors, because obviously he's on a balcony, but somebody decided to take these pictures where he was on his own property, right? He wasn't running around slapping Tessa's ass on a subway train in the middle of England, right? He was on his own private property. You decided to bring this guy on board, and you understood that eccentricities came along with that, right? No, I know who James Gunn is. Dutch kitty. James Gunn's the other guy. The Guardian. I'm sorry. I meant Thor. I said Guardians of the Galaxy. I meant Thor. I'm sorry. This guy made you a shit ton of money, and he's the one who got Thor back on track, right? Thor was kind of a mediocre property until Taika Waititi came along and sort of rescued it and made it this absolutely hilarious property, right? That was Taika. Yeah, Ragnarok. Taika was the one that came along and rescued it. I'm so sorry. I wasn't actually mixed up. I was thinking of something else for later, and that got switched in my head. But yeah, Taika's the guy who came along and rescued Thor, and he took this 2-bit property and he made it something that everybody loved. Pretty much everybody can agree. Thor Ragnarok was hella fun. We had a really good time with it. Except for a few people.
I'm with the audience. I think Thor Ragnarok's pretty shitty. I like the first Thor, and then the other two are just kind of...
Yeah, Dark World was garbage. I was what did you do? I mean, and that's actually, you know what? Looking at the Eternals, compare Eternals to Thor 2, The Dark World. It's the same uninteresting, bland.
Yeah, it feels very bland.
Sandwich. right?
Well, at least Thor had Chris Hemsworth, who's a charismatic actor that people go to see.
Yeah. But that was
Eternals
something
was
that
a bunch of
Taika
nobody.
worked with. That was something Taika had to work with, right? Taika had this really great actor who wanted to bring a sense of fun and livelihood to the character and to the IP, and that was something that Taika had to work with in that regard, right?
Yeah.
And you brought this guy on, you knew that he was eccentric. Anybody can look at Taika Waititi for 2 seconds and realize this guy's super eccentric, right? So you brought him on. What is it about his personal life that, I mean, like, it's not like he's out doing something illegal. He's not.
I agree.
As near as I know.
But here's the thing. This guy knows what's happening. He knew what was going to get out there in the world based on the fact that he was out in the public eye. You want to do this kind of thing, take it inside. How do you know this? Because we have, telephoto lenses focused on the production of Thor: Love and Thunder. We all know what it looks like from a distance. People are shooting video of it, from long range. So we're getting constant updates about this film. How would he not expect there would be somebody paying attention to his residence? Of course he knew. And there was speculation that he was trolling people, right?
What do you mean?
I haven't heard that.
Yeah. So, well, this is okay. This is a lot of that. This is a lot of the trade side of things, but it's and I probably can find some instances of it, but he largely knew, that he would have been caught doing this. This isn't a surprise. It's just Disney's scolding him for it, which, to be honest with you, Disney's kind of talking out of both sides of their face with that, because, I mean, they're willing to exploit certain things, but again, it comes down to how is this going to play? And they're already being called on the carpet for not being family enough right now. And they just released a complete trash fire in Cruella. So
wait, what's the trash fire on that one? I thought that I know it didn't make as much money as A Quiet Place 2, but are people shitting on it? Is it pretty
It's getting shit on because, now I haven't seen it, but it's getting shit on because it's essentially she's a victim of fashion.
Yeah.
Which is absurd.
Yeah. Yeah, and she doesn't like Dalmatians because they killed her mother.
That's
pushed her off the balcony.
The fucking impetus?
Yeah, and you know what? If you want, the Drinker did a great video on it today. But it's just, look, we knew what this movie was going to be. It's not a surprise. They're trying to retell. This is cultural Marxism at work. They're trying to retell these stories to make the bad guys, sympathetic, to make them the heroes, misunderstood, right? Like, Lenin, that's such a misunderstood dude, Himmler, also very misunderstood. Mussolini, just a great Italian guy, just misunderstood. That's Disney's approach to all of this stuff. And it's, but for, people who use their brain, they're like, you wrote a villain as a villain to be a villain, and despite your success at doing this once, maybe twice, I don't know how you measure success, but these are not the stories to be told. And this film is underperforming what Disney wanted. In fact, one of the trades admitted, this never happens in a trade today, and it might have been Variety that says that its performance was subdued, even with Premier Access on Disney Plus.
See, well, here's what's bizarre to me is why, in what world and what reality do you take a character that, like you said, culture was widely accepted? This is just a villain, right?
Yeah.
This is relatively black and white. You don't need this to be nuanced. This is the bad guy. This is the bad guy because they're trying to kill puppies. In what world do you take a puppy murderer and you try to adhere to the nuance? Oh, their parents were murdered by Dalmatians. Dude, that's weird. It's convoluted. I'm sorry, your mother was murdered by again, I haven't seen it. I've just seen some of the reviews on it. That's convoluted. It's bizarre. It's uncomfortable. And I don't actually want to try to take that seriously. I can laugh at kicking a dog over a bridge memes, right? Like I can laugh at right, like punting a chihuahua. I think that that's funny when it's in pure jest. Exactly. When it's in pure jest and you recognize that it's meant to be a farce, right? No one's actually trying to justify that kind of behavior. But then when you take this character and you legitimately legitimately try to nuance them into the point of being someone that you can identify with, someone that you can empathize with. That's a bridge too far for most people, and it broaches on the absurd.
But here's the thing. I mean, Disney always does an epic backfire when they're trying to present the information. They turned Baron Zemo into something people liked, right? Especially with the dance scene and everything from the Falcon and Winter Soldier, right? But they didn't make anybody like Sam Wilson, or any more than they may have already have. And they may have created people who are like, yeah, I'm just not interested in this character anymore, right? Because of how they represented him, or how the character was represented in that show. So they're really missing the mark, and it's because you no longer have storytellers. Like you can reboot properties, and you can do it very well. Look at Cobra Kai, right? It reinvented itself in an incredible way.
But, did you see the teaser this weekend?
Oh, yeah,
Culture.
yeah.
Everybody lost their shit. People who didn't even watch that third movie, and I haven't seen it for years and only saw it once. People who didn't even watch that movie are like peeing their pants. It's great. So excited.
I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat talk about Cruella trying to make her likable, make a villain likable. This reminds me, actually, it's kind of a pathetic thing on Disney's part. This is like their late to the party attempt at having a Harley Quinn. They want this damaged, whatever villain that people can cheer, that they got the same fucking color scheme. Like, that's what this feels like. They're just trying to do something.
Yeah, you're right on it, Jeff, and I agree with you. But here's the problem: DC even fucked that up.
Oh yeah,
I don't often curse, I mean, you guys know me, and I mean, they really screwed that up. I mean, they had the perfect telling of tales with that damaged person, that very damaged person that was sympathetic until they gave her own movie.
Well, she was sympathetic in and of her own right, and she was a great character in and of her own right in the animated series. It's crazy to me. A half-hour-long animated series did a better job fleshing out this character. By the way, she wasn't a main character. She was very much a side character in that show. And she was given a few episodes, but Harley Quinn was never given a ton of time, like so many other characters were, right? She was a side character, and she was fleshed out so much more thoroughly in this animated series. You had multiple entire movies to endear us to her, to explore her, to let us know who and what she was about, right? And to make her a sympathetic character, because have no question about it here. Absolutely, Harley Quinn is a sympathetic character in her own way, right? She's still a psycho, but she's very much a sympathetic character. You had all of this time, money, effort, ability to do these things with her, and you can't figure it out. If the knockoff of Harley Quinn couldn't figure it out, why the hell do you think the knockoff of Harley Quinn was going to be able to figure it out?
Well, I guess that's the whole point I think I was trying to say. And of course, now I'm not on camera. Let me fix that. But that's the whole point of what I was trying to say is they're failing creatively because they were really good at retelling Grimm's stories, right? They were really good at stealing these fairy tales and retelling them in a new and an imaginative way. They lack that creativity now. It's gone. It's absent. They can't imagine anything without inserting whatever their agenda is. And again, everything now isn't story, it's agenda, which is why we reject so much of it. It's why we rejected so much of the Disney Star Wars trilogy, right? It's why we rejected Ghostbusters. I mean, we are actively rejecting this stuff now because we see it for what it is, and it's no longer storytelling, and nobody wants lecture time. And yet you have people like Regina King, who was surprised during an interview with the fact that she was rumored to be one of the people being considered for director of the Black Superman film. Right?
I heard about that.
The lady who went on the Oscars started the Oscars off with her little strut, to the stage, right? And she gets there, right? And then starts lecturing people saying, I know you want to turn the dial. No shit. Everybody in the country just turned you off because you can't help yourself because you are so bound by this cultist mentality that you people are consumed with, right? These people, I'm going to say something that's not going to make me popular with certain parties, and that's okay. But these people are the new Scientologists, okay? Because they're going out of their way to preach their methodology for fixing you. That's all they talk about. That's all the stories are. And I'm done. You know what? Tell me every once in a while, get off the box and shush.
Dude, you're fine. I'm just looking at all of this stuff as a whole, and just it's all disappointing. And what I mean by all of it is, last week we were talking about SJW stuff. We're calling it corporate stuff because all this is all these are corporations coming in trying to hit on the trends while they're hot, make these old properties be trendy. It's all stupid. It's all dumb. Like, yes, the people on Twitter created this landscape, but now the people that make these properties are chasing after them, and it's not really successful. And we keep saying that all the time because it keeps, happening. And so it's just another attempt at an out of touch company to chase down another percentage of a demographic and slap something recognizable out there, but make it appeal a certain way. Look, if a Cruella de Vil movie isn't hitting in 2021, that's because it was too late. You had Glenn Close player in 96?
Yeah.
That was ever ago. And
but it was absurd.
With that one.
It was absurd, and it was what it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Completely absurd.
Yeah, and it did a good job. I mean, she's an incredible actress. I mean, come on, let's be honest about it. But she played it to the bone, and it worked out, right? But the same Angelina Jolie did a decent job in the first film, but after that, I mean, stop, because ideas and ways to present the same thing.
Well, there's a weird sort of authoritarianism, a hypocritical authoritarianism that's taking place in the midst of all of this, right? It's this company that feels as though they have the right to exercise their morality over you, but they haven't even defined what that morality is, right? On the one hand, it's, hey, adults can do whatever adults want to do, and if 2 consenting adults want to kiss someone of the same gender, that's fine. But if 3 consenting adults want to kiss 3 other consenting adults, that's a bridge too far. That's a weird line to cross. Look, you have either figured out that you are comfortable with consenting adults doing whatever the hell it is that consenting adults are going to do, right? Or you're not, because everything after a certain point is just sort of whatever pie to me, right? It's literally, we have entered the age at this point of people saying, okay, you do you, honey boo, right? It's fine. This is fine. Everything's good. We're not your mothers, and we want to normalize everything. And that's either what you're doing, Disney. You're either comfortable with this or you're not. So you need to, what I think that they need to do, because they're perfectly fine with graphing out all of this stuff. Oh, well, we've got an inclusion. What is that word? The inclusion directive that they had out, right? The inclusion key that they added for Disney.
That disgusting thing.
Right? They include the inclusion key.
The latest. The Disney, the 5th key that didn't need there, because they're already violating the other 4 keys by throwing all of that to the wind for the. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You're either good with this, you understand that you are entering the realm of you do you, honey boo, or you're not, right? And you need to map that out. You need to start talking about this with your higher ups, like legitimately, seriously, not like with your pants on fire on your head, right? Like sitting down, oh my God, what is going on this week? No, have an actual standard, right? Like, okay, so this is a bridge too far, and everything else before that is fine, right? You need to sort that out for yourselves so that you can have a coherent response when this kind of shit happens. Otherwise, you look like asshats.
Well, Mary, they don't know what is family entertainment these days, because what one family deems appropriate, another family wouldn't. But Disney, and I just keep using them because they're the biggest entertainment company that wants to appeal to families. They, like you said, they have to have a standard. There has to be a goalpost. They keep moving it. And when it's cool to push these trendy things and they can get a pat on the back, it's awesome. But when it's, the bottom line and this and that, then they kind of show their true colors. And Marvel, yes, it's family entertainment in the sense that it's for all ages, but I think let's just again play in the world that this rumor is real. If people are that uptight and they say this gives a bad public image, it's like these movies weren't really that sanitized in the first place. They were pretty. I mean, the first Avengers had an R rating; they had to cut it down. I mean, watch closely. The Hulk is crushing those creatures' heads, and their heads are exploding on screen. They just have black blood. Like these movies aren't, violent for adults, but they're also not like for preschoolers. They're kind of that. They're like,
Yeah, no, you're right, Jeff. I mean, these G-13 films. I mean, compared to the original Star Wars film, A New Hope, these are very violent. Not something that you would show a 6-year-old, right? I mean, I know people do, but
he's got his arm cut off and his head cut off right at the beginning of Infinity or Endgame. Yeah, Endgame. So I mean, that's a pretty violent opener. And I don't mind this shit. I'm all on board. I'm in the audience going, "That's cool. That's cool." But if that is all cool on screen, then that level of whatever needs to be across the board because Marvel is that kind of a movie. You can't because I get the branding thing, but make the cartoons for the little kids. Have the kids go watch that shit, or don't worry about what the ideology behind some of that shit.
These movies were never exactly intended for children to begin with, right? Like we accept that people are bringing their children to these movies and blah blah blah, but ultimately that's incumbent on the parents to make sure that they're being careful and protecting their children's innocence, and that's ultimately not anyone else's priority to do. Does Disney take advantage of that? Probably. But that's ultimately they're not responsible for that, right? So you make what's clearly for children, PG or so on. That's for children, right? What I'm trying to sort out is what exactly is it that they expected Taika Waititi to think about this, right? Like you've been sending a message of inclusivity, right, and acceptance of all of the different things that people identify with and are, and blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. What exactly did you expect Taika Waititi to think when he was engaging this? You hadn't set a guideline, near as I can tell, except that push it as far as you can push it, right? You got rainbow freaking Minnie and Mickey Mouse ears in Disney. You clearly think this is for the kiddos. What part of that was supposed to leave him wondering whether or not he crossed a line?
That's a good question there.
Yeah, it is. It is. But look, I'm going to say this. What was the thing that really wasn't present in any of these films outside of the relationship between Thor and what's her name? Dr.
Jane Foster?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Foster. There's not a lot of romance in them. There's an illusion. Not an illusion, but there's an illusion towards a couple of romances, right? And maybe Stark and Pepper. Yeah. But aside from that,
there's very much a side thing.
Yeah, there's not a romantic element to it, right? They avoid.
I don't know, because then you look at things like Spider-Man. Him and MJ have a romantic element. It's always a side factor. I'll grant you.
But that's an add-on, okay? Because the Sony stuff wasn't really as big a part of the Marvel crap as you'd like to think it is. When Disney got a hold of it. Really?
I do. I disagree. I think it's a mainstay.
When was the first? Okay, maybe so, but I'm talking about in these films, Mary. I mean, when was the first appearance of Spider-Man in the phases?
Civil War.
So how deep into the films are we at that point?
Well, Spider-Man himself has had 2. He's working on the 3rd. He's been in Infinity War, Endgame.
But my point is, he didn't factor into the early part of these phases. Was he in the first Avengers film? No.
You could say the same thing of Stephen Strange.
Was he in the second Avengers film? No.
You can say this. Look, I mean, most of these characters. Look, Stephen Strange has a side romance. Most of these characters have some kind of side romance. It's never a main plot detail.
It's this kind of. It's an illusion. There's not a romantic to it. You don't.
It's a side plot. It's a side plot. I will totally grant you it's a side plot.
But I'm saying is want that they don't highlight it. There's very little on-screen kiss from any of these people. None of. Right. And they do that intentionally because, while it would be appreciated in some markets, let's say China and other countries around the world, in the United States, they're trying to pander to this idea that this is a sexless environment, right? And so when Disney sees something that has sex, this is just what I'm thinking they're thinking. It doesn't mean that I know it, but this is what I'm thinking they're thinking. They don't want this kind of sexuality associated with their stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's not just for the China reason.
Well, I don't know that I agree, because they're talking about the Eternals are going to have this big gay kiss in it, right?
Okay, except where's that not going to air?
China. That's fair. That's fair. Well, no, I don't know about that though, because they have a Chinese character.
It doesn't matter. The film's not going to be in China. That film's not going to make it Shang-Chi, however you want to say that, Shang-Chi, which is how I said it my entire life. That's not going to make it to China. Disney's kind of got a couple, 3 films that aren't going to China.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, because they can't, right? And trust me, they are remiss about that. They are not happy that they have films that aren't going to be able to make it into China. That's not changing. That's not changing. Because you cannot. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Wasn't Shang-Chi one of those movies that possibly wasn't going to China?
It's not going. Sure right now, it's not even. It's not on the. If they surprise and actually allow it in, that's one thing. I don't anticipate that's the case. There's been a lot of oopses with Disney, and it's going to have to be something that's appealing. So, hey, I with this.
What is? Sorry, you guys all froze up on me.
Oh, sorry. Culture.
I don't agree with this. I think Marvel's Shang-Chi connects Black Panther to the box office. I don't agree with that.
The reason I brought that up is because you guys were talking about how the film won't get released in China. I don't think without that market, Shang-Chi is going to make that much money. You need the internet. It's funny. The movie that's going to get banned for other reasons or whatever the fuck they're doing is going to be probably the market that doesn't make it bigger than Black Panther.
I'm just curious why you're saying Shang-Chi won't be in China.
Right now, I'm just saying there's no release date. They're very pissed off that they didn't change the character enough
due to the backlash
to reflect Shang-Chi's father's character enough to be released there. Now, I don't know if anything's changed, but that was the last thing I'd heard, and I'd heard it multiple times from many places.
Mm-hmm. I'm working off the cuff here, but I'm looking at a Screen Rant article on it that's saying the Eternals and Shang-Chi movies may not release in China due to backlash.
Yeah.
Yep. So the behind-the-scenes talent and casting may keep Eternals and Shang-Chi from playing in the Chinese cinemas this year. That's crazy to me, because it felt to me like they'd done so much to tailor Shang-Chi to be a Chinese release.
Yeah, and Christian FS here is 100% right on exactly the reason. The Mandarin character, Shang-Chi's father, they considered that a racist stereotype, and it wasn't changed enough from the comics for them to accept the film into the country. You have to remember, the number of theatrical releases from the United States in China is strictly limited by the communist government there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. The CCP only allows for so many American films. It's been kind of limited to major American studio releases over there. And they only collect 25% of the box office net, not the gross, the net that's made in those releases. So it's not nearly as much. There is no reason Hollywood should be pandering to a Chinese market.
That's what I was literally about to say, is why the hell are they pandering so much then?
Yeah.
Because
they've been doing it for a long time. Because
limited.
So you want to know you want the answer? Mm-hmm. Okay, the answer is financing. Doesn't have anything to do with the box office. There's Legendary Pictures. Whenever you're associated with Legendary, they're providing the financing. Whenever you're associated with one of these productions, if there's a Chinese company involved in it, the financing takes care of itself. So if you're a production company and you don't want to use your own money, and the studio doesn't want to give you money, you partner up with one of these Chinese houses, you have the money. It's all about money.
But if they're limiting how many people can be released, or how many of them can be released from get-go, right? If that's a quantified number that's reduced down to something specific, then why bother? You know what I mean? Like, okay, so prep a couple of releases, right? But you know how many you can release, and have those. Why worry about it?
Because an extra $100 million, no matter how you go about getting it, looks good. So, it's the same reason why Disney Plus is, 1/6 the price in India as it is here in the United States, because the subscriber numbers look good on the investment side of things. Mm-hmm. They're okay. Well, they were okay up until recently with the lower ARPU, the average revenue per user or unit or whatever that ARPU is used for multiple things. But that number is considerably lower than, let's say, their closest competitor, which would be HBO Max. HBO Max ARPU is much, much higher. So if you're an investor, you're looking at this, you want Disney to get back to their core business. They're still pandering to the Chinese box office. That's not smart. You're still focused on direct to consumer, which is the streaming thing, which I will grant you is important. But your core businesses are why your investors are there. And there are a lot of investment houses that are not just Disney, but all these other companies, they need to return to form. So for how long this sausage continue, hard to say. But people are going to have to start calling them out on the Marxism and everything that's allowing them to ignore profits because of stakeholder capitalism. Anyway, we got way off track. I'm very sorry, but yeah.
No, it's super
don't
interesting.
Apologize. This is a great conversation. The audience is really into it. So
yeah.
But I just wanted to share this real quick because this is like 16-bit mascot said, a propaganda piece to generate false hype. This is the biggest bullshit I've seen recently. And I just wanted to draw everyone's attention to it and pay close attention to what the media is trying to do this early on in Shang-Chi's box office cycle. We're 3 months and a couple days removed from this film. Oh, it's going to be the biggest hit. You got to get people excited. Why don't you put out articles about, Black Widow and get people excited for that one first?
Everybody wanted that one. Everybody wanted Black Widow. Everybody was actually excited for that. I mean, like even the people like myself who felt like it was okay. So it was a little bit late, right? Obviously, we should have seen something like that after Winter Soldier, which is where it felt like it should have gone ultimately. But even the people who felt that it was a bit late in the timeline were still excited for it, still pumped for it because the character's good, right? The character herself is a good character. We're all interested, and believe it or not, a lot of women identify with that character, right? Because there's a very female struggle that was placed blatantly on the screen.
She's still feminine.
Yeah, she's incredibly feminine.
Yeah, they don't have any of those. Yeah, and then they follow that up with Brie Larson flat as a board. And I'm not just talking about her acting. I'm talking about her front and her back. She's flat, and you know what? That's not feminine. She's not, and she has a resting bitch face that could peel paint. So nobody's interested in that.
I'm going to start telling you to smile all the time, culture.
You know what? You tell me to smile, you're going to get the same face I give everybody all the time, which is why I don't have wrinkles.
I'm going to be so wrinkly when I get old.
Yeah, you are. It's okay. But let's be honest here. They're trying to pump up. This is a fourth tier character, right? We have a lot of third tier characters that we got excited for. Some second tier characters that actually, made the Avengers popular. But this is a fourth tier character. Because how many people, raise your hands, before we started to talk about this film, a year and a half, 2 years ago, how many of you knew who the frick Shang-Chi was? Unless you
no. Same people who knew, the same people who knew who the Eternals were. Right, the same people who knew who the Eternals were, right? Like you're talking about D and E list characters. Yeah, these are D and E list characters that nobody's familiar with, which would have in and of itself been fine for you to take it because we saw how possible it was to take these sort of lower tier list characters and to turn them into something special, provided you focus on the content that turns out resonated well with comic book readers. Mm-hmm. This stuff didn't resonate well with comic book readers. People don't like this shit for the same reasons they don't like freaking Captain Marvel, Captain Whammon over there, right? Like you went into the stupid weird area of the comics that nobody has liked for a while. You could have adapted cool shit or you could have retconned it to make it fun and interesting for people. You opted not to do that. You deserve everything you get at the box office when these people don't show up.
Yeah. Well, and again, like I said, this film not going to make it into China. At least, again, there is nothing in the and by the way, China is happy to tell you what's officially going to be in the box office. This ain't there, and of course, neither is Eternals. So neither of those films are going to make it. There's a third one that probably won't make it this year. I'm not going to talk about it yet until I confirm it. And this is happening all over the place. Disney put their foot in it when they got in bed completely with the CCP when they built Shanghai. right? They had a beautiful location in Hong Kong, which was somewhat a quasi independent, part of China after the English left, right? But that was relatively safe. But building a park in Shanghai puts you in a 50% partnership with the CCP. You're compromised.
It's really getting bizarre. The whole thing is getting bizarre. Doesn't it feel incredibly convoluted, the whole thing that's going on over at Marvel right now? Everything feels incredibly convoluted all the time. Like the ass doesn't know where the head is, and the hand doesn't know where anything is, and no moving part understands any other moving part, right? And people are just acting like complete asshats on a constant and regular basis. And all of this is so difficult to follow. And none of it makes financial sense. I feel like did Kevin Feige start taking stupid pills or some other sort of pill that
he's always been a male feminist. It's just now he doesn't have to do anything about it. He can just go out there with an agenda. That's the problem. And not only that, the corporations are leaning into this garbage until the backlash is too severe. I mean, we only have to go back a few weeks, talk about Mr. Rufo, outing all the documents for the inclusivity bologna sausage training that was happening at Disney. You don't have to go back that far. And this is not something new. They've been incorporating a lot of that crap too. Look how fast Coca-Cola did the moonwalk away from their CRT.
Oh, you saw the white one?
Actually deleted that entire program, Mary.
They did. I know. I did a happy dance. It was so funny.
Once you get called on the carpet and people start to point out the fact that these are Marxist practices, I don't care if you're part of the 268 Fortune 500 companies right now that are buying into this one world bologna sausage that is going to destroy any form of freedom we have in the world. You have to call them on the carpet, because eventually profits matter and so do stockholders. And when you are not representing the stockholders' best interests, you get called on the carpet. Even it doesn't matter who the biggest institutional investor is at that point, because they can only falsely support so many slates at a corporate level. And we need to start going after them. Like, JP Morgan Chase right now is, I know I'm getting a little heavy for some people, but JP Morgan Chase is the biggest supporter of this bologna sausage we should be calling out on a daily basis. They're the whole reason that we have this Marxist, approach to everything now at a corporate level. So if you want to go after somebody, you have to go after them. So anyway,
everybody's got a bit, right? Everybody's got a bit these days, and none of it has been entertaining to watch. I mean, outside of the shit show that it is on Twitter, right? In terms of the actual movies themselves, it all sucks really, really badly, right? Universal's trying to do their Dark Universe, which fell through flat, and DC can't get their shit together, and nobody has anything that isn't a remake or a sequel to something, and no one has any idea where it is that they stand on any given political or social topic. Right? It's all about this chicken running around with its head cut off bullshit that is ultimately seeping through into the entertainment that we imbibe. And so that's why this is becoming more and more insane, batshit crazy. And it feels like what you see on screen is representative of the shit show that we've got going on in real life, because nobody knows what the hell they're doing anymore.
No, they don't. And it's all before, when you would hear them talk about Marvel films, there was this purity, this excitement, this desire to bring these fictional characters to life in a way we had never seen before. And now they talk about them just like a product. It's about as exciting to hear about. I get as excited to hear about the next Marvel phase as I do when I get my little Uline catalog that's like, well, you can ship your comic books in these type of boxes. It's like, great, trade industry shit. Awesome. Like, the excitement is just sucked out of the room. Like, the wonder, the magic of these movies has just been ruined, because I think the more and more we have a Disney-owned Marvel, just the Marvel brand itself becomes less and less inviting. It's funny how a company like Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilm, any of the big ones that want to talk about inclusion, especially this month, they're really not doing as much inclusion stuff as they think they are, because they really are just pushing other people out. Inclusion means everybody, not just who the most or the newest people to the market or the trendiest part of the market. That means everybody. And, pushing out people, picking out certain parts of the demographic by name and stuff like that. It's all bad business. And that all goes against your ideals. So at the end of the day, big goddamn hypocrites.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong in it, but it's a mantra is what it is. That's why I always say, and look, Eric July beat me there, but it's a cult. It's been a cult for a while. We might as well call it what it is. It was allowed to fester in the educational institutions at a higher level. You have a whole group of MPAs that were subjected to this stuff. When you have a corporation that actually has a diversity and inclusion thing, you shouldn't support them, because it essentially they're aligning themselves with this idea that they're going to discriminate against not only their customers but their employees.
Well, and they're very comfortable with it, right? They're so very comfortable with that cultism, because when you challenge that, right, when you try to enter a conversation, right, like when you step out and say, okay, so let's talk about this, let's discuss this like adults, like rational, reasonable human beings are want to do when there's a conflict this heavy and in regards to something that so many people care about, they completely shy away. They back away. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. You're the bad guy. And if I were to talk to you and to treat you like a person, right, then that would make it very, very difficult to dehumanize you. That would make it very, very difficult to have a legitimate discussion. And then, God forbid, I might be wrong. And so it's just far easier to simply shy away from it. And it is a cult. It's exactly how cultists act, right? When you become radicalized in that way, you are no longer capable of having a calm, rational discussion with another human being. That's it, right? You only engage with people who will reinforce your worldview, who will reassure you that you are absolutely correct. Yes, queen, all the way, right? You only re-engage with those kind of people because those are the kind of people that validate your existence in the world that you choose to exist in. It's really bizarre.
It is. It's disappointing. I used to feel good about some of this stuff, but not
Remember
anymore.
Liking stuff? Remember liking things?
Mary,
I remember.
Oh God, I miss those days. I remember when the first Spider-Man movie was coming out, I was counting down the days. Oh my God. And in 21 days, they had those commercials every week. It was another, 14/7, 3 days from now, today. Like, you used to get so hyped for that stuff because I don't mind being sold something. It's not, I don't need a company to give me the most earnest or honest, blah, 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 blah marketing. Just give me something fucking cool. Like that's how they could package Godzilla. That movie's a dog shit movie, the 98 one with Matthew Broderick, but it looked like the coolest thing on the planet because they knew how to market. They've lost that ability. Hollywood has really lost that ability, which is dumb because technology has advanced most parts of our lives. Computers can do crazy things. Your phone can do crazy things. Everything has improved across the board in terms of what you use to make a movie or a commercial or a product. But the commercials themselves have less creativity behind them. I mean, sometimes you go the wrong direction, like with Suicide Squad trailer. They have it, and then they make the whole movie like that. But other trailers in general, Star Wars, Indiana Jones trailer has the same problems. They just don't know how to get hype. They think that people need to see a trailer and then go online to get excited. When in reality, that trailer should get you to fucking, oh my God, I got to buy a ticket tomorrow. Like that's what we're missing.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have to have the internet aspect of it for so many years. We cultivated our friendships in that regard, right? And so we had our little group of friends in real life where we would all get together and we would call each other, right? Or, we'd let each other know. So this thing happened, this is coming out. And then everybody would all get together and we would watch the trailer together, right? Now everything feels so diluted. It feels so washed out by the bajillion voices. It used to be you would get there with your friends and your friends had a diversity of thoughts, right? And so because you had access to what you had access to, the world used to be a lot smaller than it is now. You used to be able to just talk to who was right there in your inner circle. Now you've got a whole entire world out there that is absolutely influencing you in one direction or another. It used to be, it was your friends that sort of policed you and you talked things over and you thought things through and you rationalized stuff with and you got excited with or you tore stuff down with or whatever, right? And things were very organic back then, right? Now it just sort of feels like one giant tidal wave in one direction or another at any given time.
Yeah, again, I mean, and Jeff hit on this just a few minutes ago. you are being marketed all of this stuff as content. That's what it is. It is product. This is the problem when you have MBAs that are only trained in that mentality. You don't have creatives running companies anymore. There's no visionaries, right? There is no Steve Jobs that's running this stuff. That's why, technology seems to have stalled, when it comes to our phones and stuff like that. Oh, we can make them smaller. We can make them faster. We can make the screen bend. But creatively, we're done. There's not another innovation that's going to come along that's going to, be like that. And the same thing's true with these guys. You have Cheapskate at Disney, who is the product salesman. He was the worst person to put in charge of a creative company like Disney. Why do you do that? And you know what, Tasmanta, you're 100% right.
Well, and none of these people love this stuff. Let's stop pretending like the people who are in charge of these things have any real passion or zeal for the content that they're creating, right? And which is, I think, completely counter to what it is that you could say about the online people who, like, we're here clearly because we've spent our lives. We're sick and tired of watching our shit get destroyed, right? But these people, they fail upwards. They get an opportunity, they F it up. Well, yeah, but they're black. So we're going to need to try to move them in an area that maybe doesn't completely dismiss them because we wouldn't want to be labeled as something horrible, right? So people fail upwards. And people have no business. Like, what the hell does Kathleen Kennedy know about Star Wars? What kind of an asinine statement is the Force is female? What the Force is the only gender fluid thing I'm willing to assign with such a title, right? Like, how did she get there?
Well, the Force is female was a Nike campaign, but it's the beyond all of that. It's just it's total garbage from that perspective, because she doesn't. I don't think she understands anything more than how to get George his coffee.
I'm convinced it's a damn good coffee. I really want to try it.
She had a Star Wars blend, right? And she had an Amblin Entertainment blend, and she had particular blends for the guys that got her where she is. And Cameron Pasha is not wrong. She hung out with the right group of dudes, right? Mm-hmm. Spielberg and Lucas, and they were all in the same group together. And that group all rose to this level of Hollywood, and they went from being hippy dippy to something else entirely. Mm-hmm. And that something else entirely became somewhat sinister. And the only person who didn't seem to go that direction seemed to be Lucas. The rest of that group, and I'm not going to call them all out by name, but the rest of that group, fairly sinister stuff nowadays. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's in pursuit of power, because in Hollywood,
money,
leverage,
money culture. Look, let's
be
completely real,
dude. Look. JJ could have stuck around at Disney and made as much money or maybe more than he's going to be making on the $500 million deal that he's getting from frickin' Warner, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. But then again, Warner signed Patrice Cullors to a first look deal so that she could produce children's programming.
I think that at the end of the day, most of this stuff look, I'm not saying that there weren't, obviously, I think people will make concessions where they want to make concessions, but they're not willing to step away from the money altogether, right? When JJ says stupid shit like we didn't have a plan, right? You engaged in that. You fully acknowledge it now. It's batshit crazy for me to hear. You actually let that leave your mouth. Wow, what the fuck am I doing here? But you are willing to say out loud. You've let the words come out of your mouth. We didn't have a plan. As bad an idea as that was, but you were there because money. And do I think that some concessions will be made because maybe he likes this thing or likes that thing or fancies himself a fan or a savant on any given topic? Sure, I think people will follow where they consider themselves to be interested, right? And I'm sure JJ thinks he's into this stuff, but no more than a passing. Look, there are lots of people who are, I'm into Star Wars, I watch the movies.
Well, Mary, let's take a quick super chat break for the audience, and then we'll talk about J.J. Abrams, because I have a lot to say about this asshole. So let's see. You know what we'll do? We'll press the button. I forgot.
The button?
Yeah. Which button?
No.
Mary, pick a number.
22.
Message. Message. Message.
All right. So our first that
That was-
you've never seen "Don't Be a Menace to South Central" while drinking your juice in the hood.
No.
It's parody and it's excellent.
Oh, it was so good. Yeah, it was the parody of Menace II Society and all the symbols back then. It was great. It was great.
I'm
I
calling
like
your
the
mother.
way you described the title of that film.
Menace II Society.
Yep. So our friend Cesario Japan is the first super chat of the night, and he says, "Mary Mayhem's Jamaram." So Cesario Japan, you know what you get.
Does he look like a bitch?
See, I subverted your expectations. Jamaram. There you go. I always deliver.
I love it.
Joseph Yanowich says, "Y'all want this party started?"
Jam around.
No.
Now, our friend Joseph Yanowich has a really excellent request.
Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling.
There you go.
You owe me a new teddy bear.
Sure.
That
Bill
city
me.
boy, born and raised in South Detroit. Sorry, that was one of my favorite
Dude.
songs.
Okay, so let me tell you a quick story about that song. I used to hate it up until college because I would go to parties and every fucking party ended with people singing "Don't Stop Believing," and then it just kind of fell apart. And so I'm like, whatever, this is kind of a lame tradition. But then a couple of years ago, I just became less cynical across the board. I'm like, that's a pretty good message, don't stop believing. I'm like, you know what? I don't dislike this song anymore. I'm cool with it. So that was my journey.
I was a DJ for like almost 10 years, for like 10 years, right? And Don't Stop Believing was how we ended almost every night. That and It's Time to Take My Drunk Ass Home.
Yeah.
No, then you can't be shit talking Journey. That's the best.
Hold on
Dude.
to that feeling.
I've come to terms with the song. I respect it now. Folks, by the way, we have over 690 people watching, but we only have 313 likes. Do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button to let us know you're enjoying the High Council. Also, 1,000 thumbs up. Another Good Morning Pop Culture will be added to the list. That'll be 7. And as I said, we'll do them over the road. We'll have fun this summer. It'll be a nice little summer of Good Morning Pop Culture. And I have a bunch of content lined up, and it's in production currently for the summer, including my my video to the Iconicon series for that online convention that's coming up soon. So make sure you guys are subscribed to Retro Blasting to get all the information on that. Show Michael some support and love, and be on the lookout for my contribution to that awesome event this summer. Also, our friend Valiant Renegade says, "Hail, my friends. Looking forward to a great show. No doubt you will stand and deliver." Well, Valiant Renegade, I'm sitting down, but hopefully we're still delivering because I'm having fun. You guys having a good time?
Absolutely. I'm going to hold on to my teddy bear, though. If you're a
Good. I can't promise you anything. Roger H., thank you very much for your thumbs up. Always appreciate that, sir. Bweezy Bird says, "Jeff, you got a new P.O. box?" No, Bweezy Bird. I moved apartments, but I just moved around the corner. So everything's the same. Same P.O. box, same grocery store, but, that wouldn't matter to you guys. But no, anytime I make have a big change like that will affect the channel, I will definitely give you guys plenty of updates. And I do plan on updating our email address in the near future for the World Class Bullshitter Show. So I will let everyone know what that is as well. SH Rebels 08.
I'm in your dreams, Mary Mayhem.
I want Buffalo Jeff to meet Freddy Krueger. That would be my dream.
Oh my God! You know what? Someday, I tell you what, I'm going to ask you to record me a bunch of like MP3 Buffalo Jeff stuff, and then I'm gonna screen cap Buffalo Bob from Silence of the Lambs, and then I will actually animate you doing Buffalo Bob for Buffalo Jeff on Buffalo Bob.
Oh, that would be
I think
amazing.
I can do that. I think I can do that.
Somebody says arrest Buffalo Jeff.
Please, please, please.
I love that so much.
No. You haven't been able to look at innocent until proven guilty, okay, Mary? Just because he lives a lifestyle that you don't like Taika Waititi does, doesn't mean Buffalo Jeff needs to be scrutinized and, prosecuted to the extent of the law.
Horseshit! Horseshit! No!
Horses.
Valiant Renegade, thank you very much again for a super chat. He says, and points for having two very fine folks on, the Great Culture Casino and the very, very lovely Mary.
Aw, thank you. I tried.
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
Culture's sexier than me.
I don't think that's
now. Speaking of sex and sexy, Mary, we have a good super chat about a Star Wars sex life. So, folks, actually, while we're reading a few of the super chats, let me not have a stroke on air. Let's let you guys play along with us at home. So there you go. We are playing this game. Describe your sex life with a Star Wars quote, and this is where the fun begins. So our first one is from our friend Space Monkey 0899, who says, C-3PO, I beg your pardon, but what do you mean naked? R2-D2 beeps. C-3PO says, my parts are showing. Oh my goodness. Oh.
Okay, that's good. That's pretty good.
It is good.
Dixon Cider, this is a pretty good joke. I know some people hate puns, but I like this one. It says, I tried to explain being a werewolf to a passerby, but I couldn't liken it to anything relatable.
Oh! Boom. I love it. I love it. That was great. I love the puns. The puns. Okay, so can I explain why I love puns, Jeff?
Sure.
It's kind of sadistic. I don't actually like puns for their punny quality. I like puns for the torture they inflict on people who have to listen to them.
Yeah, me too. Like Jessie, she hates puns. I love when you say them.
I love puns so much. It's so cringe,
folks,
but I love it.
If you ever want to troll Jessie in her chat, just send her tons and tons of puns.
Is she mad? I feel like she's probably getting mad over there.
Oh, she's out. She's on her Live It stream right now. She can't even hear us.
Oh, dang it.
Well, it's awesome now that we have multiple rooms in an apartment, because it's like, oh, I'm on the show. Cool. I'm in a separate room from it, which is nice. I love having an office. I can't wait to actually use it. Tweeter Trash says, has anyone seen the new Anne Boleyn blaxploitation series? Race swapping for views and clicks should be called exactly what it is. Blaxploitation.
That is what it is. Yeah. No, that's exactly what it is.
And it's not good. It's not good like the blaxploitation films of old, right? Because some of those were amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, there's some great martial arts films that you couldn't do any other way. And but this is not that.
I over the weekend came up with a blaxploitation comic book, so that has been added to my list of 10 stories down the road. But yeah, awesome. I can't wait to. So this weekend I was supposed to take the iPad and learn how to use it for Procreate and stuff, but in the move I lost the Apple Pencil, so I actually got a lot of channel content stuff lined up. So folks, make sure you guys check out today's video. It's doing well about J.J. Abrams' Star Wars plan, which is going to be our next topic in a moment. But I go into, remember, folks, I always take the WCBS approach where I go a little deeper than everyone else. And yeah, that sounded dirty. Sorry, the people are outside are screaming. But yeah, folks, make sure you guys check that out because I have a bunch of stuff lined up. And I realized how much I loved making videos recently. So now, Skyclonus says, I wonder what they had planned on doing with Chernabog in the Night of the Bald Man. Sorry, in the Night of the Bald Mountain movie.
Night of Bald Mountain.
Okay.
Were they really going to do that? I had heard that was just not actually going to happen.
It was out there. I'm going to say that there was also an attraction designed. It's a blue sky thing for Disney for Bald Mountain as well. That's all I will say about that.
Okay.
That's more than I know. Now, Caffeinated Wolf, thank you very much. He says, as a comic book guy, one of the things that makes the Suicide Squad tolerable is how good of a job they did with Harleen's story.
Harleen Quinn, for those of you who are Wondering what the heck he's talking about.
Yeah, Dr. Harleen Quinn.
It was brief. The Harleen aspect of it was super brief, though. It really only touched on it momentarily.
Okay, but did you see the non-theatrical extended cut? Because I feel like if you see the extended cut, you aren't as harsh on that film, right? But if you saw it in the theaters, you hate it with the burning passion of 10,000.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see the extended cut. I've known a lot of people were screaming for the Ayer cut, but I don't know what that means or looks like.
Yeah, I'm sure we get more Juggalo Joker. I don't know, but I just look. The extended cut's very good. It explains a lot of stuff that I felt was absent from the theatrical cut, and I made my peace with the film because of it, and that's hard for me to do. So there it is. There it is.
You guys are showing your lack of nerd cred here. Everyone's
oh my God, Quinzel. Yeah,
Harley Quinzel.
Oh no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, no, he's right. He's right. You fakey fakes. No, he's right.
I quit. I'm gonna go find a building to jump off of.
Mary, you have failed me for the last time.
Do you really want to? I can't. I want.
Terminus EST. Thank you very much. I loved 101 Dalmatians. Not interested in a shitty origin story about the woman who kills dogs and turns them into coats. That bitch made the. Sorry, that is bitch made right there. I don't see the need for it. You had Glenn Close do it 20 years ago. I understand, and this is sarcasm, folks. I get it. So I get it, though. 30 years ago is a long time. We shouldn't watch movies that are that old. It's wrong. If it's not new, it's not good, right? If it doesn't have 4K resolution and all the CGI and Melissa McCarthy, it's not a great film. I get that. No, it's just stupid. For fuck's sakes, we could come up with 10 other Disney movies that would be original and cool and would be at least more enticing. I would. Dude, I liked Tron Legacy as well. I'm in the minority, but I liked that movie quite a bit.
Me too. But again, you had to be into Tron and understand the world of Tron to get Tron Legacy, right? But I was a kid when Tron came out. Well, not a kid, but I was an older kid when Tron came out, and I really loved the film. And I understood what they were going for and what the future could hold. I thought it was great, and we may still get that future. Just it's called something different. It's called the Singularity now, but we may get that future.
Well, one thing that's Disney, I feel like they made the big mistake was we live in this integrated world with gaming. Gaming is as ubiquitous as any form of entertainment. And Tron inside of a movie about inside of a video game with a little depth like Tron had, and then you could add some more. I think it would be a really interesting thing to put out in today's world. Tron Legacy might have just been a smidge too early.
I think, well, okay, but it was probably one of the best things that could show this is the problem. When Disney innovates, which they did with Tron and with Tron Legacy, I know most people don't understand, they move the bar to some other place that didn't exist before. Tron was that first kind of integration of the digital and the live action, right? And in Tron Legacy, mapping a reverse aged Bridges, even though there was that uncanny valley, was still something that hadn't been done to that level at that scale ever before. They invented a whole other way of going about things. They built a digital mask to put over a stand-in. And that's why we have what we have now with deepfakes and stuff like that. It was all started there, and I don't think people appreciate that. There were some great things that came out of that. There were great things that came out of ILM. I mean, the whole reason that you can do film production and television production right now in the age of global pandemic problems is because of stagecraft. Stagecraft didn't exist before, and you had that the ILM married with the Unreal Engine or the Epic, the Epic product, right? Creates the opportunity to do that, and the first person to do that was Jon Favreau, right? And then he goes on to continue and give a path forward for everybody else to decrease the size of budgets and increase the production quality of television products, of film products going forward. You're going to have a lot less money spent on location management because you're not going to have to build a small city in some places, because now you can just send a crew there, a second unit, to do all of the advanced work, shoot everything that you possibly need for a scene in 360 degrees, and come back to a studio and have your actors live in that environment in real time. That's the difference. And so there are innovations that come out of those places. So, man, this is the problem. I get started talking about stuff, and then I get excited about it, and then
It's not a problem because there's no dead air on the show. It's great.
well,
I agree. Like dead air is like terrifying to me. I did the whole DJ thing, like I told you earlier, for 10 years, and dead air was just terrifying. And culture is just this fount of knowledge. He knows all the things all the time. Quit being freaking modest, you turd. Culture is such a fount of knowledge, and he knows so much all of the time. And so it's. I appreciate the dynamic with you, man.
Well,
so let me read
it's decades of consumption of a lot of useless information. That's all it is. Anyway, sorry, Jay.
Oh, don't apologize. I'm going to read a few more, and then we're going to talk about our buddy JJ Abrams. Trace XL, thank you very much. I don't need fixing or lectures. I need fun entertainment and cake. I would also like baked goods. Good evening, panel and chat. Folks, if you want to send cake and baked goods to the High Council, you can send that to WCBS Show, 14320 Ventura Boulevard, Suite 163, Sherman Oaks, California, 91423. Make sure the package says cake. We will eat it. Jack White, thank you very much. He says, Douglas Murray said it best. This SJW movement is not about equality or equity. It's about revenge.
I would agree with that. I don't know that it's a good idea to get into that, but I do agree with it.
Yeah, I do too.
I will say.
Here we go.
I will say this real quick, just 2 seconds. Jeff, I'm going to miss the drag strip that you used to live on. I'm just going to say that out loud.
I'm not. What the hell, culture? I'm not. Why would anybody? Why would you want to hear that? Culture.
Because it reminds them of simpler times.
Simpler times. I got an idea. I could go to California and just boom up and down Jeff and Jesse Street.
I mean, if you want to waste all that gasoline, sure, go for it.
I mean, I wouldn't waste gasoline. So, I mean, okay, yeah. It would definitively be a waste of gasoline in that doing that in and of itself is a waste, unless you factor in that if I only do it when you're live, right? And I get like maybe, I don't know, like a motorcycle or something that's super loud and just meow. That would be great. I feel like that would be super entertaining.
It's ridiculously expensive out here now. It's $5 a gallon. So,
whoa!
You know what though? I left my car in Ohio. I didn't need it. That's how walking everywhere has helped my health. So I'm happy.
Nobody walks in LA.
Everybody walks in Sherman Oaks though. It's like a weird little enclave neighborhood.
Yeah. All right. So here's the cool thing about LA, right? You had when I hear, this is the problem. Every time I hear the name JJ, I think about the king of beepers.
Why?
That's a throwback to the late 80s and early 90s. JJ was the king of beepers. He had ridiculous commercials in multiple metro markets, but mostly Los Angeles. So just for fun, if you ever wonder what I'm talking about, the useless knowledge that's up in this brain, JJ was the king of beepers.
Yeah, I was a baby. I don't know none of that stuff. I was a super little kid.
So Arc 5 has a great naughty way to describe your sex life with a Star Wars quote. You were my brother. I loved you.
Nope. Look. Taika getting down with 3 other people is one thing. But when you drag your siblings into this shit, I'm out.
There's no Game of Thrones in my love life, yo.
So Albatross, thank you very much. He says, will Taika get Me Too'd for this?
No,
because the photos show them all willing adults. It's not like one of those situations. I think it's more of the morals of what Disney wants to.
So, but okay, Jeff, and this is the thing that Jesse was talking about earlier. There is a power dynamic at work here, right?
Oh, okay.
So if anybody gets on the wrong side of anything, right, and they feel like they didn't earn enough money, didn't get enough credit, you opened yourself up to a problem and a half. And there's pictures of it, so it can't be denied.
Yeah. I guess I never think of that part of the dynamic, but
Oh, you have to. You have to. This is engaging in relationships with another human being. You have to consider everything now because you've been opened up to litigation despite an honest and forthright intent. Sab?
Okay, we'll read a few more and then we will jump into J.J. Abrams. Wanderer says, Ragnarok had some fun, cool moments, but it was ultimately a springboard which led to Endgame. Thor, which was an insult on that level, Thor was an insult on the level of the Last Jedi Luke. There we go. I don't think Fat Thor was that much of an embarrassment compared to Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, but, they released images from the new Thor movie today and he's back to looking normal. I just think Endgame's a bad idea across the board. I got a video I'm working on why I hate that movie, and hate is the word I would probably use to describe it at this point. It just did so much damage and I don't think it's set up properly, or pay off properly. I know a lot of people are, it was the ultimate payoff. It was the best it could have been. No, I don't think so. But
hate's a strong word, right?
Yeah.
You should say, I really, really, really don't like you.
But is Endgame going to get offended and call me on the phone?
They might. I don't know. But here's the thing. I don't disagree with you. I think they made some very bad choices. But they've done it all along, and only now have we come to realize it because they intended to continue. And I hate to go back in time to about 40 minutes ago and say Black Widow is the worst conceived project known to man, because if you were going to do it, you would have done it, like Mary said, like right after Winter Soldier.
Well, I don't know that makes it the worst conceived project, but it
I
certainly
do,
means
because
it's done in undue time.
But you already know her end, and the problem with making a film about where you already know the end is that unless you are Rogue One.
Say that again? I'm sorry, I cut out.
No, he's right about the Rogue One aspect. That works.
Yeah. But unless you're Rogue One, making a film that's 6 years, almost 7 years too late at this point, it doesn't work. Black Widow's not going to do that. You have a fully developed character. The characters in Rogue One, they were kind of enough of an archetype that you gave like two shits about them, but it's the same reason why Cassian Andor isn't going to be very successful as a Disney Plus series.
Because nobody gives a shit. They all know how
he
ends.
Fucking shit, right? So that's. I mean, if you go in your mind canon, think film. Did you care about any of those memo? You didn't care about anybody. None of those people in that film anything presented, which is why I don't mind the fact that the Fleabag bitch makes me happy. The fact that she's resurrected in a Bond thing is bothering me. And I don't like he was Fleabag, but she's not qualified to write or do anything going forward, in my opinion. Just because
Was he breaking up for you too,
her.
Jeff?
Is it me?
He was.
Oh, okay. I was worried to death it was just me. You were breaking up like hell.
I have good hair. Can't be me.
No, look, it is kind of interesting though. The sort of weird oh yeah, we're totally all about that women empowerment, but we should have given this woman a movie 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Now, we'll move over and let's see. You'll read this one because this is Marvel related. Caffeinated Wolf asks, "We have a Spider-Man in the MCU?" He's
wow, he's being difficult. He's being cranky because he didn't have his nap. Yeah.
So this is the perfect transitional super chat, and then we will read all of these folks. So thank you to everyone. Super Nate says 2 and 1. It's a trap. And that's why I have to go.
Jeff, did you just say transition?
Oh, I guess I did.
Oh boy.
Wait, what?
What?
What went over my head? Something's going over my head. Da 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 da.
You know what? I'll just press a button to alleviate some of the tension.
Guess what, motherfucker?
I really want to pet that cat. I'm not the only one, right? I can't be the only person who saw that and went, kitty!
Guess what, motherfucker?
Oh, scratch his ears.
Hey, if you want to, he might bite you, but hey, go for it.
Nah.
You know, oh man. Someday when all is revealed, I will talk about my close proximity to a lot of large animals that could eat my face. But,
or you could tell me later.
Okay, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
So last week we had heard through a Collider interview that J.J. Abrams and Disney Star Wars really didn't have a plan. Now, of course, the first thing I thought was, I told you so. But, let's talk about it, because for all the bullshit excuses they've tried to levy at Star Wars fans, right the whole damn time. It wasn't that we were racist and bigoted and all this shit. It was, we could kind of see through your bullshit and lies. And so every time you came out with another stupid, lazy movie that we called you out on, you tried to throw that at us to distract us. But at the end of the day, the fans won, and you guys tanked the franchise in 4 years. From December 2015 to December 2019, the Star Wars franchise became the biggest thing to the most embarrassing thing. I'm glad it's over. I look back at J.J. Abrams' tenure, and I'm like, you know what? You were the worst possible choice for this. And then Rian Johnson got hired. But that's a topic for another day. So J.J. Abrams admits the obvious. Disney didn't have a real plan when they made the new Star Wars trilogy. Now, this is coming from Esquire, and the reason I wanted to read that part about the obvious, because Esquire is the same publication that gave me shit a couple years ago, talking about there was an article written about us and how we're hate and this and that. They didn't even take the time to do the fucking research about me, but whatever. Let's use their words against them, because a while ago they were the biggest Disney shills on the planet. They had made excuses for everything, but I guess those checks stopped clearing after The Rise of Skywalker, because everybody, including our friend Scott Mendelson over at Forbes, has just shit on that movie and the legacy of this franchise. I wonder what happened.
Well, they don't have to anymore, right? It's become pretty clear, I think, for the time being at least, that Star Wars is, for lack of a better word, fucked. Like there's all of this shit coming out, but it's all on a streaming service that's not doing so hot in a lot of ways, and so they're really not they're not incumbent to act a certain way for Disney Star Wars right now. They just don't have to.
No. So besides me going, haha, I told you so, Mary Culture, any differing responses to after hearing the initial news?
Well, they knew. Like, that was just the crazy part. Isn't it batshit crazy? And I'm sorry, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, please do. But isn't it absolutely insane how we spent years saying this? We spent years saying this is blatantly obvious. We knew that there was no plan. We knew that there was no connect the dots. Like, there was no thread to be used to put through the eyes of each of the needles of these movies. We knew this, but we got shit talked regardless. We got called every awful thing that you can call somebody, regardless of the fact that we made it clear over and over. We tried very hard to keep this. It's pretty simple, right? It was pretty simple for Star Wars fans. And that was, we tried to stay on target. This is about the fact that the movies suck. This is what it has always been about for us. We've made our stand pretty clear. And when the water gets muddied, and that's how you can tell when somebody's intentions aren't sincere, when they begin to muddy the water, when they begin to introduce side aspects that have nothing to do with anything that ever came out of your mouth, nothing that was behind any intent of anything that you ever said at any given point. When you said, look, this just clearly looks like a 3-year-old made it, right? And we're a little concerned about the fact that you've started some shit that you don't seem to want to wrap up here. And we're a little concerned that the character story and the character and the storytelling is really, really bad. And we really care about this IP. And we'd like to not see it, get fucking shit stomped, right? That would be where we stand on this Star Wars stuff. And you called us everything you could anyway. And you muddied the water. And here we are now, and you're like, yeah, no, we didn't have a plan. Fuck you.
That's the fuck you part for me is you have infinite resources to buy up these properties and produce these films. What was your excuse? And it wasn't just they didn't have a plan from the get-go. You guys remember a few months back when we had seen posts on Instagram from one of the artists, the CGI artists on The Rise of Skywalker, and like, yeah, we had all these last-minute changes and we had to do all this shit. And they just basically repurposed the same ship and put little Gribblies and stuff on the ships and CGI'd the same thing a million times over. Like, this is supposed to be the biggest movie of the season. This big whatever. And they're like in a time crunch. Where did it fall apart in the production line that made Star Wars movies be made on such a tight, shitty schedule? Like, who fucked that up? We know the answer, but that's what pisses me off the most, because there's no excuses to be made. And I don't have any sympathy for them. It's like, oh, woe is me, the rich guys that have all the time and resources and just pissed it away because we're full of shit. Like, boo-hoo.
Look, it comes down to the fact that you had people in positions of authority who abdicated their responsibility. And that includes every single person at a director level or higher. And, that ultimately lands on J.J. Abrams' plate, Kathleen Kennedy's plate, Bob Iger's plate, et cetera, et cetera. Unfortunately, some of it comes down even on Alan Horn, which is unfortunate because he had done a really good job up to that point in navigating theatrical releases to the mainstream, because he was responsible for the ultimate go sign when it came to anything released from Disney. And they brought in Alan Bergman, who I think is a yes man, unfortunately, for Chapek, but that's the future. The future is that. The past, unfortunately, was Mr. Horn. Anyway.
I just, at this point, I just enjoy the I told you so. The lamenting of it passing. I don't know, just trying to be deeper about it. It's like, look, they screwed up. It's hard for me to care anymore. I can't really go, oh man, Star Wars, blah, blah, blah. It's so sad that it's gone. Yeah. They never cared or respected us. And they deserve this. And
they did.
I went back and I rewatched the some footage of the premiere of The Force Awakens, and like that energy and that hype that was there for Star Wars, it is official. That can't come back.
No.
You get it. You have the natural organic shit from the original. You had the hype from episode 1, which I would argue was bigger than the hype for episode 7. And then 7. That's it. You'll never have another big cultural.
Look, I will acknowledge that the hype around episode 7 was pretty real, right? Like I was.
Yeah, I'm not fighting that at all.
I was so there for it. But I mean, can we kind of recognize now the sort of warning signs? Like, I'm kind of grateful for that in and of itself.
Well, but here's the thing. I mean, at the time, understand that as a youth, I saw the original film. I was 6 and then 7 when I saw the original film, Star Wars, which at that time was called Star Wars. It wasn't called A New Hope, but now, and then it got revised. But that's okay. When I saw the film, it was totally worth standing outside in the heat for many hours, to see the film. And my entire life reflected that going forward when it came to Star Wars. I didn't have to wait outside for this film. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't. Because when The Force Awakens released, I was like confused walking out of the theater. Still, I felt something. It was Star Warsy, right? Mm-hmm. But it wasn't It wasn't the same. We were still talking about it on the way out of the theater. When The Last Jedi came out, in a group of 12 people, no one said a word on the way out of the theater, all the way to the car.
I got into a huge argument with my brother, when we were walking out of The Force Awakens. He loved it. I was mad. I was really mad. I was mad at how Han died. I was mad at how cavalier they threw him away. And I was mad about the fact that I knew Han. So I was pissed about this. Han, Leia, and Luke would never be on the same screen again. I knew that much. I knew that much walking out, and I was pissed. Yeah. I knew walking out of it that something was wrong. I knew that I hated Rey. I liked Finn, but it was so disjointed. I had some excitement in regards to who was Rey's parentage, right? But it was that mystery box, and I think a lot of people were gotcha'd by that. But I was angry. I was really angry. Right? I was sort of with Chewie on it, like, like pretty pissed.
But Mary, you're thinking about it bigger than I think most of the audience did. I didn't care Rey's parentage was. I didn't in that film. I didn't care any of that. What I wanted was a good story, and the problem is on reflection, you didn't get it. You got some rehashed, rewind stuff from the original film, A New Hope, beat for beat. And you were robbed of multiple opportunities, including the character you just mentioned, Finn, in favor of something else. None of it made any sense when you go back through it, and it was never explained. And that's that, and you don't have to explain everything in a film, but it has to make sense. And I think that's the problem, is as an audience, by the time you got through the second film, none of it made sense. And I think that's where everybody lost their mind. And I think that's where the disconnect happened for 50% of the people who were just completely turned off. And by the end of the film, you were done.
What's bizarre about all of this is that with a plan, right? Like you could have said a lot of things, like even with an agenda. Or I saw that thing you put up there earlier, Jeff, about like who needs a plan when you have an agenda, right? But look, here's the wonderful thing about a plan, right? A well-made plan is that you can actually have an agenda with a well-made plan, and a lot of people will overlook said agenda, right? A lot of people are perfectly content to, I actually don't care. I actually don't care what you're introducing into society as perfectly normal, right? So long as you treat these characters with love and decency and respect, as though they are, worthy of being well written. Because Luke is certainly worthy of being well written and loved and being respected, as is, Leia and Han and these original trilogy characters that are the reason butts went into seats, right?
Oh, this is the best.
Oh, shit. Oh, snap, yo. Oh, God. Look at that.
I just wanted to show the numbers from the numbers. And again, I can't argue that these movies were successful. The first one was a very successful film. Not trying to argue that.
Damn.
But look at the production budget. I don't remember ever really commenting publicly on the $306 million production budget for The Force Awakens. That's the most expensive Star Wars movie ever.
It's actually more than that, but I'm not gonna get into that.
How much more?
I'm not talking about it, but it's more than that. That's okay. The film released in 2019 was way more than the budget that's showing here.
Because it's they kept telling us all kinds of numbers. We did a video late last year.
It's closer to 310.
It's so much money to make some shit. And at the end of the day, folks, you have the first one has the high production budget. It makes a lot of money. The next one, $106 million less, it makes $700 million less at the box office. And the next one has a much bigger budget, and it makes even less. I just wanted to show you that the trilogy was less successful as it went on. It was a downward trajectory, and audiences left.
Adjusted for inflation, it was stupidity, is what it was. It bothers me. And, okay, so you can draw a direct line in the quality of storytelling, just like you can with Ghostbusters, right? So when you're trying to show that the I think Drinker pointed this out. When you're trying to show that the proton packs that they're wearing in the elevator scene, you're showing that that they're very dangerous. They're essentially nuclear accelerators, right? It's in all of that, right? So in that scene, it takes less than a minute, and it's beautifully done. It's beautifully written. It's an incredibly simple scene, and it's funny, right? And it takes 4 times or more long to tell that same thing in the girl version of Ghostbusters that I don't even want to admit exists. Talking about the proton packs, and they're dangerous, right? And you've got Melissa McCarthy shooting around like she's
like a complete jackass,
holding a fire hose, right? And while to some people that's funny slapstick humor, it is it's not good. Well, the same thing happens throughout these Star Wars films. It takes so much less to feel the weight. You had it highlighted just a moment ago. To feel the weight of the deaths of the people on Alderaan, right? When the planets are literally destroyed by the New Age Death Star, right? The Star Killer, right?
You experienced that through Obi-Wan.
You did. You experienced it in the witness as an audience member, but Obi-Wan brought it home. And it didn't take that much screen time. I felt a disturbance in the Force. Right?
Millions of voices crying out in fear and suddenly silenced. And that hits you like a fracking truck.
It did, like a ton of bricks. But there were no moments in any of the new Star Wars films, as simple as that was, that connected with you like that. The death of Han Solo wasn't the tragedy that they wanted it to be.
Nope, I was angry. Because I knew it was coming. Yeah.
It was infuriating. It was an anger-inducing event. And it wasn't just because of what you said, Mary, that we weren't going to get what we needed to get in these films, which was the reunion.
They did it because of demands made. They did this for, obviously there are more than one reason, but one of the biggest reasons was that everybody knew going into this that Harrison Ford didn't want to do this shit, right? He wanted to leave as quickly as possible. He was here because he felt badgered and bullied into being here, right? And so he returned. Twice. Do what?
He tried to die twice, by the way.
He tried so many times.
He's
but everybody
I want to be written off this film.
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming the moment you saw him walk out onto that ledge, right? It wasn't pins and needles. Oh, is Kylo Ren gonna turn right now? No, nobody believed that for 2 seconds. You threw him away with the most telegraphed, like script. Like we could all see this coming from a mile away, and I was angry. I was angry when he walked out there on that ledge because I knew exactly what was coming, and it was unbefitting the character of Han Solo. Who the hell is this guy? He spent no screen time with him. They have no relationship that I've seen borne out through any measure of time on screen together. But you're going to have him murder him right before my eyes. Are you fucking kidding me?
It comes from a lack of ability to tell a story. And this is typical JJ. And I'm sorry if I'm saying I'm saying the quiet part out loud right now. And that is, he sucks. He sucks as a storyteller. He's not a creative. He probably is a really good producer. Maybe he's a good director. I don't know. But anything that he's actually written has been ended in a complete trash fire. And that's going back from way back. If it wasn't for the self-masturbatory thing that he was able to do with 8mm because of his benefactor, nobody would give two shits about this guy. And that's the truth. So there you are.
I still don't. But he's always playing with other people's toys and he's breaking them, dude. Look at Star Trek, what happened. Dude. Into Darkness, then Beyond. I know he didn't direct Beyond, but still he still sets up these franchises to do nothing. It's like he comes in, he's like, I'm going to do one, and then it's going to be off to the races. That mystery box that he sold Hollywood is the biggest piece of shit lie ever. Because, you'll never know what's in there. Guess what? There was nothing in there. That's the fun of the mystery box. No, dude. I spent, between those three movies, like $60 on movie tickets, which isn't a ton of money, but still, the time is what pisses me off. The fucking 7 hours I spent watching those three movies.
But you're not wrong, because it never pays off. It's not like what's in the box? What's in the box? There's no payoff with JJ. He'll set up a mystery box. It doesn't mean jack shit. Nobody should care. You don't need McMuffins, right? You need an actual story element, right? Plot devices are just that, and they can work. There has to be a payoff for this stuff. I almost cursed again. You got me cursing a lot, Joe.
Can we stop insulting McMuffins? I love McMuffins. These are not McMuffins. I know it comes from EFAT, but I love that so much. I know, but as I am, McMuffins are awesome.
My ire gets up when you start talking about Star Wars, and unfortunately, I think this is where we all bond. This is where
how did this happen?
Gets together.
That's the main question: is how did this happen? Because this is
George Lucas sold a property. He was sold a bill of goods by a woman who was a glorified coffee gopher that was allowed to have an executive producer credit on too many films because of her husband. And you know what? I'm going to say it exactly that way, because if it weren't for Frank Marshall, we wouldn't give two shits about Kathleen Kennedy.
I don't understand though how the people that look, the higher ups at Disney, right? Like, okay, Disney, if you want to get everybody together and you want to run this as like a corporation created IP, that's fine. That it doesn't create the best stuff, but at least generally speaking, you've got a company that recognizes that a plan is necessary, right? Like even if everybody's got their fingers in the plan, a plan is generally made. That's not what happened here.
No, but it's the beauty of Feige, right? He expanded upon what Jon Favreau, and I'm going to give him a lot of credit. He expanded upon what Favreau had already led us down, right? A road to involving more and more and more elements of this Marvel universe that was going to be ever expanding universe that could lead you down all of these amazing stories. You had 60, 70, 80 years of storytelling. You had a lot. You could have done a lot with it, right? But no.
What the hell are we looking at right now?
I wanted to share this with you before we left any Star Wars topic. This is from Wikipedia's official Instagram post.
I see the pride thing. So Padme's handmaiden, she's not LGBTQ. Tarkin's not LGBTQ.
Why did they put question marks next to these?
Well, that's the person probably.
Fuck those guys. Yeah, do you realize? You know what? I'm not doing it. I'm fucking losing my mind.
Well, the reason I wanted to share this initially was like, I thought that was Padme from the distance. They tricked me like in the movie. Oh, the handmaiden's really not the queen. Which one is it? Anyway, I was like, wait, Natalie Portman. I was like, Padme wasn't gay. She was married to Anakin. And then I was like, oh, wait, it's the handmaiden. I just really think it's pointless to put a sexual identity on a character after the fact. Like decades and decades. Who gives a shit about Padme's handmaiden? Nobody. Lando Calrissian's the only relevant one on there. And yeah, I know Grand Moff Tarkin's cool and all, but his ass is dead. Lando's the most important character on the screen. Dude. What does ascribing this trait to a character 40 years plus after The Empire Strikes Back do to the legacy?
It doesn't do anything. It's just a weird sort of thing to slap on there.
Yeah, and the Tarkin thing doesn't make any sense because, again, the hyper-militaristic, thing at the time that they were shooting for wouldn't have allowed for that type of lifestyle. Let's put it in those terms because of who they were modeled after.
Yeah.
So
it makes I know
angry. There were no hints to the dynamics of Padme's handmaiden body double.
Sabé, I believe, was her
played
name.
by a smoking hot chick that was also a great actress.
Yeah.
And the Lando thing is only a recent bunch of garb. I can't. That just makes me crazy. Freaking Lando Calrissian is one of my favorite characters in Star Wars.
Yeah, that's Sabé. She wasn't gay. She was never depicted as gay or LGBTQ in any way. She was devoted to Padme, and I don't really understand where this is coming from.
Yeah, like the WTF viewer says, Lando is married with children in the EU, so Disney is doing this to pander to LGBTQ people. Why? I don't care if any of the High Republic characters they create are gay. I don't care if any new characters, the lady from The Rise of Skywalker, Kylo Ren could have been gay, whatever. It would have got us away from that Reylo bullshit. But just what I'm trying to get at is the whole point of like the creator of these characters really are the ones that get to put any of this shit on the character. And if you go decades and decades without that shit, that isn't a valid addition because it doesn't add anything to Lando. And in the films, they didn't show Lando, the real Lando, Billy D. I don't give a shit about Donald Glover's portrayal. They didn't show Billy D. Lando in any kind of compromising situation. This just feels like a thing the internet threw on the character, and then Disney's like, okay, we'll just use Lando to sacrifice that shit.
It's incidental. It has nothing to do with this character's role in the film. It has nothing to do with what it is that we see conveyed about this character. Right? I'm going to whip out my LGBTQ card here, right? And I'm just going to point out the fact that this is an incredibly frustrating aspect to entertainment these days, right? This incidental aspect of this person's character, which you've never alluded to up until this point, has nothing to do with anything. And so when you whip that out as if it had always been present and not something you tacked on right now, it feels as though you are reducing a character that did something pivotal in this series to nothing more than who it is that they bone. It's really frustrating. It's really freaking frustrating, right? Like I don't freaking get on and get into a conversation with people and look for every opportunity I can to freaking try to bring up the fact that I'm bisexual. That's fucking weird, people. It's fucking weird. Ugh. Sorry, it pisses me off. It has nothing to do with anything. It doesn't help. You're not doing anything other than reducing these people to an incidental. It's not helpful. You know what I do remember about Sabé was that she died. She died to protect Queen Amidala.
She did. Yeah, so that we could end up with Luke and Leia because of her weird romance with Anakin. So, I mean, even back then, I mean, despite how much I love George Lucas, there was some odd storytelling there.
It's such an insult. Such an insult. Like I got wished a happy Pride Month earlier, which I was grateful for. Actually, I thought that was really sweet. Thanks. That's really cool. Kind of nice. Feels kind of cool. I get to engage in that now. But it's also not an aspect of my personality that I want pointed at on a regular basis. I don't know why we're doing it. Does nobody else feel dirty? Does it feel dirty that we're talking about people's sexuality all the time? You don't feel like that's inappropriate, indecent? I don't want to sit there and watch straight people make out all the time. If it doesn't have something to do with the storytelling, like for all the people who are bitching, these are the same people who are bitching about how, does it pass the Beckham test, right? Does the chick have friends who she can engage with that it's not sexual? Does she interact with a guy when it's not sexual? Turns out that those same people are just way super into the sexuality aspect of characters when it has nothing to do with anything. If it doesn't further the plot, don't fucking talk about it. Just as much as I don't need to see a chick make out with a guy for the sake of making out with a guy, just because, I don't need to see it between two women and two men either. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's weird and it's stupid. Stop it. Just stop it.
All right, I am back. Sorry for having to step.
Oh, I didn't know you were gone.
I said something in the private chat because normally I tell people like, I'm going to step away, but you guys were on it, so.
I was ranting.
It's really easy for us to talk and yell at things, so.
I was bitching about being about stupid bisexual shit. That's what I was bitching about.
Oh, wait, you're bisexual?
Well, shut up, Culture.
I'm sorry, I missed the whole thing.
You done did know.
missed
No, it was pissing me off because when
it was us being very angry about dumb shit on the screen right now.
the reduction of a character who saved Queen Amidala's life down to being nothing more than LGBTQ, even though it has nothing to do with the storytelling process.
Grinding everything down to the check boxes, which is really funny. You're free to be who you are as long as you check these boxes.
It's a fucking freak show, and it pisses me off.
It's annoying. It frustrates everyone, and they don't get it. And it's like, why am I paying attention to anything that you have to say when all you're about is putting people in this select group of, I don't know, identitarian ideology boxes that they don't serve a purpose. Why are we dividing everybody into these little tiny partitions when everybody is essentially a human being? And that's all this is. They're doing it in entertainment. They're doing it in news. They're doing it in government. They're doing it at your job. They're doing it in all of these places where it doesn't belong. Because guess what? We are all the same. We may not look the same. We may not talk the same. Don't speak the same language. It doesn't matter. We don't have the same currencies. At the end of the day, you're all the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really wish people would stop making it. You're making it fucking weird out there. You're making it weird out there.
I took my glasses off.
Is there anything else on the Star Wars topic you guys would like to cover? I mean, J.J. Abrams was the real big one. It wasn't, this.
Star Wars is dead. Star Wars is dead. Star Wars has been dead. They actually stuck a freaking stake in the heart of Star Wars when they let Pablo Hidalgo walk out of the room and say some dumb shit within 18 hours of the last ditch effort to connect with fans from The Mandalorian.
Did he ever apologize to Star Wars Theory?
He did. No, wait. A legitimate apology or a fucking bullshit leftist apology?
Oh, okay, so that's right. I'm remembering it now. He kind of said something sideways, right? About it should never have been taken that way in the first place, right?
He's a maroon tune. Here's the thing: you can never admit that you're wrong if you're in the cult. Mm-hmm. I admit I'm wrong all the time. I miss shit constantly. The video I'm releasing tomorrow, I guarantee you, there's one misspelling in it. Not because I tried.
I have a thing about people who can't admit that they're wrong, right? Because everybody makes mistakes, and everybody's human, and everybody should.
Oh, I mean, we got busted for Harley Quinzel.
Harley Quinn, right?
Yeah.
But what was our reaction? Oh, yes, right. Yeah, it's Quinzel. We knew it. We knew that, right?
But here we are being dumb because we were in the moment talking off the cuff, and I'm okay. I'm okay with being wrong. Mm-hmm. I'll admit when I'm wrong. I don't have a problem with that. But you know what?
I have a title for people who can't own their mistakes, and that's you're a bitch. You're a bitch, right? Disney, you're a bunch of bitches, right? This would have been super simple and easy if you didn't have to grandstand and pretend like you're perfect entities, right? This would have been absolutely fine. All you had to do is go, oh man, I'm sorry, we fucked up, my bad, right? And everybody would have gone, oh no, it's okay, brother, we cool, and everything would have been fine, and we would have moved on, and there would have been a lot less pain, and a lot less hurt, and a lot less finger pointing, and a lot less anger involved in all of this, right? Because it turns out people are pretty forgiving, honestly, because people recognize in others the same thing that they find in themselves, which is the ability to make mistakes and to fuck up and to eat shit, right? To have egg on your face, because we're all capable of that, and we will all experience that, right? And so when we look at someone else who's owning that moment and going, man, I'm just, I did it wrong, right? You see that, and you find a person who you suddenly respect because they're able to own their humanity, right? But a person who can't do that, that's a bitch. You're a bitch. You are a bitch. You need to own the fact that you did something dumb. And we could have all moved past that. We love Star Wars. We don't want to hate this shit, right? We don't want to. We want to love this. That's why we're still here. Turns out most of us are still here. because we actually love these IPs and we would like to see them do well. We simply want you to be held accountable for the stupid shit you do and for you to fix it in response, right? And so it would have been pretty simple. Hey, we didn't have a plan. You could have said this years ago. We didn't have a plan. And we'd have gone, oh, that's dumb. Should probably make a plan next time. And things would have been completely different. At least that's my perspective.
Things would have been different. But it created all of this. So let's be glad it wasn't different. We wouldn't know each other if that was the case. All of us.
Oh,
I
no,
am grateful in that regard.
There is a lot of beauty in what happened, at least in the end, and it gives us an opportunity to call out the stuff that's coming down the pipeline. That's the same old, right? I consider it the worst kind of blessing you could be granted. And everybody tells you when you pray, no matter if you pray or not. I mean, some people are, atheists or whatnot. But, when you pray, you don't necessarily know what the end result of that prayer will be. And sometimes it's, a big bag of shit. But that shit reminds you that you can fertilize some crops and do something with it. So that's where we are.
And maybe we lucked out, right? And not just in the friendships that we've made, right? But we're all a little older. We're all a little wiser. We've all been able to sort of unite and say, okay, so we see this coming now, right? So maybe we lucked out in that regard. Maybe we're all just a little more capable of seeing the shit coming before it gets here now.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about Ray Fisher in a moment because there's a little more news. Folks, coming up in August, there will be a Fandom Menace meetup at Star Trek Celebration. What do they call it? Star Trek Las Vegas, right? It's the official name of it, Culture.
Yep.
So come out and meet us. I will be there.
I will be there.
Culture will be there. We're going to have a lot of fun. This is going to be the first post-pandemic Fandom Menace meetup. Now, we'll also be... Most of us will be at Star Wars Celebration like we were in 2019. That was the biggest, best Fandom Menace meetup ever that had the original High Council, so many creators, so many fans. And let's recapture that magic next year, folks. You don't have to give Disney $1 to come celebrate with us. Just get prepared.
You don't even have to go. You don't even have to go to the Star Trek convention, right? There are going to be a lot of people you can hang out with. I'm going to be telling people on a daily basis in my community tab where I will be. Most of the time, you can find me at the craps table in that's where you can find me. I'm going to be standing there holding a bunch of yellow chips, hopefully. But unfortunately, when the boss comes around, she usually tries to take away a bunch of yellow chips from me. But you can find me there. Sometimes you can find me at ridiculous, video poker. But yeah, I'm going to have a great time. And if I can, I'll be everywhere I can be because this is going to be such an amazing low key event to just hang out, and I guarantee you, I'll be doing live streams. Jeff will do live streams. Anybody who's there will be having live streams. I'm gonna bring all of my gimbals, all of my batteries, everything that I can to support live streaming from everywhere I am. So, including
hang out with people.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. It's like, hey, do you know this person? Hey, I get to meet this great person. And you'll be able to do impromptu videos with interviews and all that from people, all of you. And that's the important thing. Cause to me, this is nothing more than reaching out and having a community. The other stuff I don't care about. It's all of you people, including Jeff and Mary and everybody else I've met along the way, from Gary and I mean, just anybody, Doomcock. I want to meet whoever's going to be there. So if you're one of those people, come. It's not going to be hard to find me. I look like I look here. It's not going to be hard to find me. There you go.
So let's hear what the audience is saying. Valiant Renegade, thank you very much. He sends in the super chat twice, so I will read it twice. He says, Black Panther numbers were grossly inflated because it was a lead to Infinity War, just like Captain Marvel was for Endgame. Shang-Chi will be a huge flop. And then again, he did send it, so I will say Black Panther numbers were grossly inflated because it was lead into Infinity War, just like Captain Marvel was for Endgame. Shang-Chi will be a huge flop. The lead-ins, people forget how important the lead-ins are. Even Spider-Man benefited in the post-Endgame world because everyone's like, what happens after the snap? And then you get there, and maybe I'm just being, a fanboy, but I was very disappointed with what I found out happened post-snap. Everything just went back to normal. I thought there should have been some more lasting effects, but oh well.
They really mismanaged that, by the way. I mean, there were a lot of effects that should have happened post-snap, and then with Return, I mean, there were so many different issues that weren't addressed there. Right?
Where was it? Was it here that I was having the conversation last about how they really should have drugged that out? They could have gotten a lot more out of it if they had made the snap last, say, like, I don't know, 10 years or something instead of 5.
I'd have liked if they just took 5 years in between the movies. That'd have been more fun for me.
Right? You could have done a lot more. Yeah,
but they blew it up. I mean, they did it on purpose. It's hard to... Well, they went through decades of material, right? And abandoned decades of material to get to where we are now.
Yeah.
Every single story going forward is going to be something that they can quote unquote say was from the books. And this is the argument that I've had and many other people have had going forward. You wrote the shitty books that nobody's buying. So now we're going to get shitty stories that nobody bought.
What's so weird about all of this, right, is that they know this stuff doesn't work in comics, right?
And they're going to make it.
Why did you decide you had over 10 years of amazing movies that all of them did reasonably well, right? Some of them obviously knocked it out of the park. Others did, they did pretty good, right? I don't think you could say any of the Marvel movies were failures, right? No. Epic failure. I mean, maybe Hulk. But that it's hard for me to count that, you know what I mean? You had all of this amazing stuff. You knew how to take good material and make it better, right? Well, now you're determined to take shitty material and make it worse. Why?
Laziness. One of the things, I think it was Ethan that we were talking about, or I was talking this to. God, I can't speak. Anyway, long story short, Ethan had mentioned, I think it was Sana Amanat created or has some kind of point system with the Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. So that's why you have some of these characters get pushed because there's so much money that these creators can try to make from it. But they're not like creating anything like Stan Lee co-created with Jack Kirby and the likes back in the day where it's going to stick around and actually be something of value. It's like we need to do something quick and then it burns up on impact. Like the Marvels, that movie, you don't rebrand something successful.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you. You don't. You run with it. You freaking run with it.
Stephen Kraft. Oh, good.
No, I was just going to say it's 23 films, right, in the MCU. Mm-hmm. Getting to a point where we don't care anymore.
It was a good run.
It was an amazing run. No other franchise has done that outside of Bond. Is that right?
Yeah. Nothing has as many movies.
Wow.
Because Bond's on 24.
25. 25 if they ever release No Time to Fucking Give a Shit.
I don't give a shit anymore. I am so removed from that one. And now this whole Amazon acquiring MGM, if they like throw a bunch of money at Daniel Craig to keep playing James Bond, I'm going to be pissed.
They're not gonna.
I hope they don't. He doesn't want to play it, so just let it go.
He's not going to do it. And they have right now, Bond is a rudderless ship. It was a rudderless ship the minute they brought in Phoebe Waller. I could care two shits about that bitch. I'm so mad about this. Me tooing Bond.
That was the most you can't me too this IP ever.
It's like do you know who did it better? The dude that put together fucking gosh, he's really good too. The Golden Circle and
Kingsman?
Yeah, the Kingsman's. Yeah, and actually, the actual Kingsman movie's coming out like soon, right? Isn't that crap? I forget his name. He's really good. He wrote it. I mean, all those two
Mark
films
Millar?
are good. No, fuck. What's his name? God damn it.
Banana.
That's not gonna matter. Anyway, the whole point is, that's more Bond than Bond has been. And this is a conversation I've had with a lot of people, from the Midnight's Edge folks to many others, Critical Drinker as, others. I'm going to say this. Bond stopped being Bond at Casino Royale because it turned into the Jason Bourne version of Bond that may have been more exciting as far as action movie, but relied less on the gadgets and stuff. It relied less on Q and the gadgetry that was James Bond. James Bond was a spy. There was some campiness to it. There was definitely some misogyny, and that's good. That's part of that world, right? Women are, I don't care what anybody says in today's society, women are attracted to men who are willing to take control.
Can confirm.
Yeah, and they're also attracted to some negs. I mean, that's why it works. I mean, that's why, pickup artists teach that technique, is to, put a woman off balance, make them feel like they need to impress you, right? And that's what James Bond was all about, and it's now they just misunderstand the character. And anyway, man, I keep doing this, Jeff. I'm so sorry. I get way off the subject, and
I don't see anyone in the chat complaining. So
yeah, I know, but I can go for 25 minutes without anybody else talking. That's not good. That's not good YouTube. So anyway, there you go.
It's great for Good Morning Pop Culture because there's no one else on the show with me. So if I can't go for 25 minutes, I think I failed already.
Nah, you do a good job, dude. I love those. And you know what? I love solo shows. That's why I love doing the Friday pre-flight before all the Friday shows kick off, because it's just like talking to everybody out there, speculating on what everybody's going to talk about for the weekend. You guys, everybody out there, the bigger channels make it worth it. And I always, my hat's off to everybody who can do that, because, it takes some prep. You got to figure out what you think is interesting. I love it. But anyway,
can confirm chicks do prefer alpha males. I know there's a weird terminology and some guys get pissed off when you use it. Who even is an alpha male? No, it's a guy who is the man he purports himself to be, right? He's strong and confident and capable, and he's not really concerned, nor does he give a flying fuck about you. He's doing his damn thing. He's on his grind. He's handling his business, and he's confident and secure enough in his manhood that he's not.
Ask the boss. Ask the boss if I didn't come off as the most confident motherfucker she'd ever met. And that's the thing is, that's what she expected. She expected me to live up to the hype that, and you know what, that makes you a better man. You portray yourself as something, now you got to carry it off. So yeah, it's a big deal. And being an alpha male is attractive. Being an alpha female is attractive. Just FYI.
There was something this was something that Jordan B. Peterson said. It's like, what kind of woman wants a man that she has to essentially raise, right? Why are women attracted to confident, capable, balanced men, right? It's because we're busy, we're tired, we got other shit to do, and we have enough of our own problems and our own shit to worry about without having to worry about you bringing a whole host of juvenile, stupid shit to our doorstep, right? No. I got kids to raise. I don't need to. That's where that joke comes from, guys. I got kids to raise. I don't need to raise him too, right?
Yeah, and the guy does what the guy's supposed to do. He walks out into the world. He handles his shit. He comes home at the end of the day, and you know what? You feed him. Mm-hmm. And that's as much as people laugh at Ryan Cannell. It worked. The nuclear family concept works. It's what makes the world go round. And that's why we're rebelling against this concept that everybody's a flibberty gibbet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we prefer men who have their shit together. And
do you know who wins wars? It's not, it's not Betas.
Why do women like men? Why do women like men in uniform? Because if they don't have their shit together now, they will soon. That's what the army does to men. I'm just saying. Anyway, I know you got Cyborg on the screen there, Jeff.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite subjects, by the way.
Well, hold on. We got to read a couple more of the super chats because we only got through one, actually. Wow. It was just repeated twice.
Oh, shit.
We were talking a lot.
Stephen Kraft says, will somebody get that carpet out of my way? Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? So those are his sex life.
Oh, dude, aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
No.
Love it.
It's cold.
Wrong!
I don't know. Plenty warm here.
Was that Kevin Spacey?
It is. It's from Superman Returns. It's the only decent part of that movie.
It is true. God, that movie was bad. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
We also have Valiant Renegade, who says, Mary, China put up its capital for certain U.S. movies.
It's true.
I'm sure they do, yeah.
No, I mean, the Fast and the Furious is a partnership with Legendary and the original producer. Scott something. I friggin' forget his name every time. He's the guy that actually created the show Las Vegas. Anyway, so what was born out of that was the Fast and the Furious franchise. And to expand beyond Universal, they did take in Legendary money. There's China money involved in those films, probably since 4. So Anyway, there's that. Sorry.
That's why John Cena's a big
bologna sausage from Culture Casino. So there you
go. Valiant Renegade also says Shang-Chi and the Legend of Who the F?
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah, who the
nobody
F cares?
Nobody cares.
The 10 Rings. Look, the story actually could be good. What they're doing with it's complete garbage. By the way, there's a lot of Joss Whedon humor in it. So if that's not your jam, enjoy.
Philip Booty might have the best sex quote. My sex life. My give up. My give up.
I freaking love that guy. He's the best, man. Philip Booty.
Misa don't understand.
That's from a prequel. Okay. Yes, you do. You dick.
The John Beck says, make a movie about orange chicken. Everyone loves that. I'd watch a Panda Express film.
What?
Dude, oh my God. Remake, like, what was it? Clerks, and what was the one with Ryan Reynolds was just god-awful.
Oh, Waiting?
Yeah. So you combine those two films and make it about a Panda Express.
What?
Can we get Dane Cook involved?
Yeah.
Or is it too late for him?
No, I actually, if you could find a way to throw him off a building at the beginning of the film, it would be a hit.
I think it would be too. He's on everyone's asshole list these days.
Yeah, he was on my asshole list about 5 minutes after he showed up on the scene. But anyway, it is what it is.
Well, I mean, after he went off on some waitress at a comedy club, like people just like in comedy don't even like him.
No, but here's the thing: he's never really been a comedian. He tells stories and he pauses long enough for people to laugh because they feel like that's the right response. So he's a performance artist. He's not really a comedian. In my opinion, you may disagree.
Banana.
Jack White says, don't forget about Disney filming Mulan near a concentration camp.
Yup.
Never will.
But they're the paragon of morality.
Well, no. I mean, they've been getting called on their shit for a while. And here's the thing. Cheapskate was caught in a lie at the annual meeting talking about the fact that they didn't have a political affiliation, and then they turn around and they have to cancel the CRT training, which is, I don't know, politically affiliated bologna sausage. I think they're in trouble. You know, they should be. And not only that, they're under 2 different SEC investigations that obviously aren't publicized because guess what? The SEC doesn't publicize that stuff. But here we are.
Wolfsbane says, the only role Brie Larson I liked was Envy from Scott Pilgrim, which she played herself. Actually, she should have been typecast as the bitch instead of the lead.
What was that movie again?
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
God, I need to see that. There's a ton of movies I need to see.
You know, to be honest with you, that's the only film I've ever appreciated Brie Larson in.
There's so many films I need to see.
I say that about 21 Jump Street. That's my favorite Brie Larson movie.
I still look. I know a lot of people like that film. I'm like, I grew up with the television program, so I'm like going on 21 Jump Street. But look, I mean, Brie Larson did a good job playing Ivy Adams, right? She was Ivy. Yeah, Ivy Adams and Scott Pilgrim, right?
Dude, it's been like 10 years since I've seen that movie. I saw it once when it came out, and I liked it enough, but never again.
And it was probably, what's the knucklehead's name in that like his career disappeared recently?
Oh, Michael Cera.
Yeah, he was also actually good in that. Everything else I've seen him in, he's been awkward. You know, the guy I miss the most of that like generation of actors is Justin Long.
I met him not too long ago.
I like that guy. He seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, and you know, everything I've ever seen him in, he's really good. From Galaxy Quest to Live Free or Die Hard to Accepted. I think Accepted's the best film. It's his Ryan Reynolds film, right?
Jonah Hill's in that one.
Yeah, he's the guy I want to roll down like stairs.
I liked him in Jeepers Creepers.
Now I still want to roll him downstairs. The only thing I've ever seen that I think he's great in is Wolf of Wall Street.
I still need to see that one myself. I'm super
Really
late to the party.
Great film.
I want to.
In my opinion. You know, here's the other weird thing. Is DiCaprio ever going to date anybody that's over the age of 18? I just want to know.
I mean, why would he?
I mean, his face kind of fell apart, so I guess that's how he makes himself feel young.
I'm not mad at the man.
Like DiCaprio's become young Jack Nicholson.
I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him. Let him do his thing.
I'm not mad at him either.
Do your thing, man.
Well, pretty soon in LA, it's not going to matter if they have to be within 5 years of you.
What?
It's going to be hard for him to. Yeah, don't get me started on the. Yeah, that's a wiener thing. A representative wiener, not the other wiener that showed his wiener. This is a different wiener, but it's still a wiener out there in California.
I'm really confused right now.
As am I.
It's a political thing. You guys, that's the thing. There's too much baloney up here. I'm not kidding. It's just these are the people that are trying to decriminalize certain elements of chasing around children.
Probably want to leave that alone.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. I didn't say the word. I said a different thing. I tried to avoid it, and then you dragged me into the conversation.
Nah, I know nothing. No.
Yeah, well,
not it.
You know what? We need a Buffalo Jeff right here to break the tension. That's all I have to say.
No.
Now, Jack White, thank you very much. He says the problem with modern day Hollywood is that they keep hiring activists and political writers to write their stuff. Our buddy Ta-Nehisi Coates is working on Superman. That's going to be a good choice, right?
There's nothing but political.
And Regina King was surprised to find that she was going to maybe possibly be rumored as a director for it.
Yeah.
Good
like for her. I mean, that's how everyone likes to find out they're going to be working on a job through a rumor, and they're like, oh, shit, am I? We also have Jack White who says, so was the weatherman, Iger.
Yeah, he was a weatherman. This is the thing nobody really understands. When I call him the weatherman, I've been calling him the weatherman forever. Uncle Bob was a weatherman. And you know where Willow Bay, which is his wife, was also a TV personality before they became what they are now. This is the problem with modern day leadership is you have people who've lived in a fantasy world their whole life trying to lead things.
Yeah.
No.
Jack White says Doomcock said it best. JJ is a cinematic anarchist.
See, I don't have a problem with anarchy personally. In terms of like, I'm an anarchist in many, many ways.
Hold on, I misread that. He said the cinematic antichrist.
Thank you. That's actually more accurate. I was going to say anarchist. No, he's like deviant sausage. He's not. Look, he's had 2 successes in his life that were ever his. Everything else is either courtesy of someone else or has been unsatisfying to the audience. And he's almost irredeemable. And the last irredeemable act he did was saying no more white comfort.
Jesus.
I'm he's one of those people. It's like, if something came to you that was bad, you've earned enough people's ire that they won't feel bad for you. And that's a shame. As a human being, you want people to have sympathy, empathy. You want those emotions. You want to yield those emotions from others around you. That's a dude that's not going to do it anymore. Anyway.
Now 007 Cloud says, is Don't Stop Believin' a Northeast thing? I didn't hear that song so much back down south.
It might be.
Wow. Boston, don't they play that after every game they win? Don't stop believing.
I used to love it.
It's a great song, but where I'm from, it's a thing too. But of course, so was Boston, which is another one of those, sports team fan song kind of things, and they have a catalog of those. But I don't know. Obviously Jeff knows the song. So there you are.
Yeah, from the Northeast.
So Wilson, the unauthorized biography of Tom Hanks, says,
I'm so sorry, Mary. Please let me get up to you with a hug. Do you like hugs? Let me give you a hug.
No, you are not allowed to touch me. I'm totally calling him up.
Now the show's getting fun.
Nah!
Rick Carrera, thank you very much, says Buffalo Jeff needs to sing to Mary in his best Mahler voice.
No, he doesn't know. What is wrong with you people?
Mary.
And that's all I'll say. Wolf's Pain says, y'all need Mary to do a watch party with the 90s/2000s black comedy movies. May I suggest Undercover Brother?
Okay.
That's a fun one.
What is everyone's obsession with making me watch shit, hear shit, do shit? You people are crazy, okay? Crazy. This is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand, all right? I would just like to live a normal life with my face buried in the teddy bear when Jeff acts crazy. We can confine it to just one crazy thing. Is that possible?
I don't know. I can't promise anything. Early Birdman 269 says the last trailer that really was a blockbuster was the Joker trailer.
Oh, Joker. That's a whole other thing.
That was a good movie. Zach Z says, had a slight weapons malfunction, but everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine now. Thank you. How are you?
That's glorious.
What a great way to downplay your buddy Premature Peter.
Wow.
The Last Millennial, thank God there's no more. Just wanted to say I love you guys, and let's pray Spider-Man No Way Home won't be a disappointment.
Oh, stop. No, I want to like it.
I'm going to be very, very quiet. I'm going to be very quiet.
No. Leave me alone. I want to like it.
Just a few more. We'll start talking about our good buddy Ray Fisher Cyborg. He says, Joseph Yanovich says, the original walkthrough of the Black Cauldron was in Japan Disney. I believe it was Under the Castle.
Wait, what?
The original walkthrough of the Black Cauldron was in Japan Disney, I believe. It was Under the
Castle.
Oh,
I've been through there.
Yeah, Tokyo Disneyland, right?
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. Oh, you have?
I have. I lived in Japan for 2 years.
Yes, you did.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You'll have to tell me some of your stories when we hang out over the summer.
Actually, here's the cool thing. I'm going to say this out loud in front of humans. Right now, if you want to get the closest Disneyland experience that you could possibly have, it's in Tokyo. It's managed by OLC, the Oriental Land Company, who operates the Tokyo Disneyland Park and Tokyo Disney Sea. And they operate all of the attractions that are currently in line to be changed or have been changed in the American parks because of wokeness. So there you are.
Jack White, thank you very much. He says, Young Ripa said it best about the race swapping of characters. When the comic and entertainment industry do it, they're saying the only characters that have any legitimacy are the white ones.
Yeah. Races.
I'm going to take a picture of that. That's a really good point. We've had Young Ripa on the channel before. Cool dude. Eric July, respect him.
It's awesome.
Yeah. That was the issue Dion had too with the way Barbara Broccoli talked about James Bond when she goes, oh no, there'll never be a female James Bond because women are too complex, but he could be black. And that comment really felt like a slap in the face to him, and he got pissed off. And that's what I get from a lot of this stuff.
That's probably the most racist thing she could have said right there.
Wow.
I can't imagine that. But well, you know what? He could be Japanese.
Jesus
Lord. Or he could be Chinese.
That's really fucked up.
He could be Indian.
Does that not make everybody else like really recoil and feel dirty?
No, it does. And that's the thing is, this is the problem with that thought process. It's poisonous. They don't even see it. That's the other stupid thing. It's like you are so much a part of this cult that you cannot even see how racist you are. It's disgusting to me because I was brought up in a completely different world, and it's infuriating. How do I, when I talk to my friends, and I'm not going to break all my friendships down, but I'm going to say this. When I talk to my friends, they're like, nobody believes in this shit other than this handful of humans that are virtue signaling. And that's the best terminology that's ever been created.
Yeah, their platform of unearned moral superiority.
Yeah. I mean, I think Bill Burr was talking about it on Saturday Night Live, where the white chick wearing the Ugg steps over the fence of oppression.
Yeah, right. She swings her Ugg boot over.
Yeah,
and
fucking Bill Burr had it right, man. He was 100% spot on.
He was on it, and he earned so much ire from those people, right? And they were looking for every which way to cancel that dude, But he wasn't wrong. They were going to come from no matter what. And that's the problem. If you're willing to speak truth to dumb shit's going to come for you.
Yeah.
And I was prepared for that from the very moment I walked on this platform. I'm like, even though I'm going to stick within the bounds of pop culture and entertainment from the business side of things, I'm going to have dumb shit at my doorstep.
Yeah.
And you know what? I wasn't disappointed.
Yeah, there's always, that's what makes YouTube fun. There's always dumb shit to talk about in pop culture, so we'll always be here. So let's talk about Ray Fisher, because this guy just won't go away. He keeps coming back. He's angry about his treatment on the Justice League. So Cyborg and Snyder Cut actor Ray Fisher is still on his warpath against Warner Media. This time he's calling out the company's EVP of communications for hypocrisy and demanding that both parties apologize to their employees of color. Fisher tweeted his frustrations in response to a post by Warner Media that quoted a statement by EVP Chris Hauberger recognizing BLM, systematic racism, and changing social ills. Phrases such as systematic racism, BLM are now in the collective lexicon. Naming social ills empowers us to change them. She has an extra title of Chief Inclusion Officer, which has now become a position dreamed up in the past year to get good PR.
That's true.
This is what this lady says. And then Ray Fisher chimes in and says, I spent many hours on the phone with Christy Hauberger. She's one of the major reasons why the Justice League investigation dragged on and why Warner Media still refuses to apologize. If BLM, then apologize for your black employees. If you won't, then maybe Discovery will. So when I first heard, I'm just tired of hearing about the Ray Fisher stuff. Initially, I was not interested.
I think a lot of people can agree that, Whedon's shit, right? Whedon's a shit. He's a shithead. And
oh yeah, Will Wheaton is just shit.
no, I'm Joss Whedon. You know what I meant. You know what I meant. You fuck.
I know. I was having fun. Damn it! Stop it.
That's not allowed your culture.
I loved Will Wheaton growing up. I had such a crush on him.
Ew.
What? He was a cutie.
I mean, I wouldn't have any interest, but I'm just like, the Stand By Me kid, Wesley Crusher.
Yeah,
Come
Wesley.
on.
I loved him. He was like my age-ish, sort of a little older than I was. He was a few years older. He was
He's
like
a dick.
Yeah, I know he's a dick. I'm talking about Joss Whedon.
In person, he's a dick.
I know. I've heard all of the dickiness that he is, but Joss Whedon is a dick, right? And most people can agree that he's kind of an asshole and yells at a lot of people. But I think it's important at this point to differentiate the difference between racism and this guy's an asshole, between misogyny and this guy's an asshole, right? Like, not saying you didn't go through some shit. I'm saying it's not because you're black. It's because he's a dick. And it's probably like a perfect storm of when you get an entitled person who feels like a victim in a room with an asshole who's willing to victimize anyone. Yeah, go ahead. I have to go grab this thing at the door anyway. So
all I wanted to say about him is he hasn't done as much good as he likes to think he has.
No.
When he wanted to speak for Wonder Woman and all these other people, I get it. You had your experience. You're trying to make your claim. It's the perfect climate to talk about this stuff. And shit probably happened to you too. But everybody behind the scenes just seems to be such an idiot with this. Like,
don't marry yourself. He would have been better off if he didn't marry himself to BLM, which is right now being discredited from 3 Ways to Sunday by people that are leaving the organization. So that was a mistake on his part. And again, this is what happens when you are an off-the-cuff celebrity that doesn't, engage a PR firm who can reliably, navigate these waters, which is unfortunately where all these celebrities are finding themselves because of social media. But we'll set that aside. The problem here is that if you get yelled at because you suck on set, because you're not willing to do what a director tells you to do, that's not racism. Racism is, you're going to do this because I tell you, and I'm going to do something that I hate, by the way, and say boy, or something derogatory along those lines, right? Because I wouldn't do that to a person, but there are people in this world that'll do that kind of thing, right? And they will try to demean you using language. And, that's a different thing. But if you are not performing the way a director tells you to, that's not abuse in any form.
No.
Right? You are there to do a job. There's somebody telling you how they want you to do the job. You are supposed to listen to that person and actually perform, because that's your job, in a way that person tells you to perform, because that's your job. So the minute you walk onto stage, and this happens in every form of theatrical performance, whether it's on stage or for a film, right? You are supposed to deliver the performance that the person who is directing you desires. And none of that's a form of racism.
You talked about abuse a moment ago, culture. I think of like Shelley Duvall on the set of The Shining. That kind of like something that's breaking, or how I'm trying to think of another actor that really pushed or director that pushed the actor to the limits, or even somebody like a Sam Raimi who loved to hit his actors as hard as he could and shit,
But Lena Headey just talked about being waterboarded for hours on the set of Game of Thrones.
What, they just made her watch the last season?
No, literally being waterboarded. I shit you not. Let me find the quote. I think I have it someplace. Let me find it.
Oh, okay. I believe. I was just like, Jesus, what happened to her? The only thing I had ever heard her say in the news was how she was almost broke before she had her big break, and that was all I've ever heard about her publicly. So
yeah, Here, I actually have it. It's an article from the Wrap. She says. She was waterboarded for 10 hours to shoot the scene, which Cersei, Lena Headey, gets revenge for all of Elena had done to her. So that it's actually not Lena Headey, it's the other actress that's up against her. Let me grab this for you. Control C. You can pull it up. This the problem is I grab all this info and it's insane. But this is the kind of stuff that happens in Hollywood. Now, if you're a method actor, this is an abuse. This is the kind of stuff I want to deliver, right? If I'm playing like a gang member, I'm going to try to get into the mind of that gang member, and everything that I do is going to be from that mindset. That's method acting. You have people that will gain and lose a remarkable amount of weight, to fall within a character who's defined, by the story so that they can portray it on the screen. So it's one of those weird things. So let's see.
What the hell did I come back to?
Nothing crazy yet.
Nothing crazy. Waterboarding shit going on. And what are you talking about? What is this?
Yeah. So this is because the actress against Lena Headey, the actress who was playing against her, actually has quotes in here. Her name is Waddingham, right? What is it? Hannah Waddingham. She was the lady who played Anella. That was, the person that said shame to Lena Headey's character in Game of Thrones, right? Well, when she got her revenge upon her, she was essentially waterboarded for 10 hours in that scene to do that, to make that scene. So, in fact, her last quote in here was, "It's quite full on being waterboarded for 10 hours, and then only 1 minute and 37 seconds can be used on camera."
Wow.
So there you are. Yeah. So, sorry, just a bunch of stuff. I always try to pull things, and that was probably, not necessary. But again, more stuff from culture's brain.
Would you guys rather be waterboarded or watch the sequel trilogy once more?
I've been waterboarded.
Yeah, waterboarding. I mean, I've been through lots of different forms of training, including firefighter training. I'd rather do that.
Like, waterboarding sucks. It's not fun. You do feel like you can't breathe.
You're gonna die.
Right? But yeah, you do feel like you can't breathe. You can. It's just really bizarre and insane. It's very difficult to describe. You feel like you're drowning, but you're not. It's miserable. It's awful, right? And I'd be a liar if I said that I would rather be waterboarded than go through watching the sequel trilogy again. That would be incredibly disingenuous. But that being said, you be fine, bro. Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, waterboarding sucks. You fine though.
Well, okay, so that, like, I'm not gonna do it. What's a worse movie than what are worse movies in the sequel trilogy? Because there are some.
Oh God, there's tons of them, man. I always go to the movie that I consider the worst ever. It's Pat. I hate that movie.
I remember that. I never saw it. I remember it though.
He got
a big deal.
He got Me Too'd 3 Ways to Sunday though. So
that was a guy?
No, that's Julia Sweeney.
Wait, I thought that was the former senator that got Me Too'd all the hell.
You're thinking of Stuart Saves His Family, Al Franken, another SNL
that's
movie.
What it is. It's Al Franken. Yeah, that's not Al Franken.
No, it's Pat. It was Julia Sweeney and Dave Foley and a bunch of other actors who were in other good things, but not that movie.
All right. Well, all I know is Al Franken got Me Too'd 3 Ways to Sunday, and that was the weirdest world ever. Oh man.
Which one was? Did he groped the lady, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And then he apologized, which is the worst thing you can do, right? Make him take you to court. No, make him take you to court. If you're a public figure like that, go to court.
I mean, or don't grope them.
Well, no, I mean, ultimately, that's the best thing. Yeah. I mean, Mary, come on.
What? Just don't grope people. people. I'm
I
just
have
saying.
no problem. I'm just going to say this. I have no problem not groping people.
I know. No one questions.
Wrong!
Well,
Okay,
no.
that's
Wow.
Sure, Mary.
No one questions your chivalry. Sure.
Oh, I would never.
I like humans. That's the weird thing, you know. And it doesn't matter if they're male humans or female humans. I like them all.
I like people too.
Yeah.
Except some of the people we ran into today. That's what I realized COVID did was break down some of the patience I had for some shit. So getting back into the world's like a big culture shock.
But
don't you feel like it revealed unto you? It's like you became an oracle all of a sudden. It's like, oh, you're a shithead.
Yeah. It was an interesting couple of days. I'll tell more about that, folks, on Thursday's show. That's the one where we talk about what we've been up to lately. So join us Thursday night on the show. So let's see. Valiant Renegade says, my sex life in a Star Wars quote. You have to hit a small thermal exhaust port, which is only 2 meters wide. Won't be back. Mrs. Renegade just killed me.
Poor guy.
Oh, no.
Don't kill him too bad, girl.
Yeah, we need him a little bit. He's supposed to be on a show with me on a Sunday here in the next couple of weeks, so don't kill him a lot. Just medium kill.
Yeah. He's a good dude. Don't take him out, please.
Waterboard him.
No.
I mean, I can't condone that, but I can't also... If it keeps him alive, I guess that's better than nothing, right?
Oh, he'll be fine.
He'll be.
So Wilson, the unauthorized biography of Tom Hanks, says, the Force is with you, but you're not a Jedi yet. P.S. I'm sorry, Mary. Please put this money towards buying a new teddy.
Yeah, I do need a new teddy bear. I squeezed all of
You
stuff.
realize that's like a double entendre, right?
Yeah, I thought about it for a second and then decided not to because I figured you'd do it.
I had no choice. To think, okay, buy a new teddy. Andrew will appreciate that.
Hot pink.
So our friend Stephen Kraft also says, you want to score, but you're not sure it's a good idea. It's no good. I can't maneuver. Stay on target. We're too close. Stay on target. Loosen up.
God, that's such a great scene. God dang. Look, that Death Star scene where they're attacked. God dang, that's a great
That's
scene.
my favorite part of the whole movie.
Man.
Culture, a great movie's climax is the culmination of every plot thread tied together.
Yes.
That's what the original Star Wars is. The Death Star plans, Luke Skywalker, you're a great pilot, learning about the Force, Han Solo's character redemption, the Rebel Alliance, really throwing themselves out there to try to, stop the Empire. Everything that movie talks about comes together in that last moment. And that is why that movie is a game changer.
It's 6 minutes of amazing, right? It's that 6 minutes of tying it all together, and it's perfect. It's perfect. There are only a handful of cinematic experiences that you'll have in your life where that happens. Star Wars was one of them, right? And it's okay. There's a payoff to everything that came before. There's no mystery box, right?
It's still one of them. It's still one of them.
No, but I'm saying is in my lifetime, maybe there's 6 or 7 films. Like I would have to go through my library of like where everything paid off in the end and A New Hope. Oh my God. And you know what? And here's the weird thing is I will tilt back and forth between that and Empire as being the best Star Wars film all the time.
I'm firmly set on Empire, but that's just...
And I'm firmly set on A New Hope.
Oh, I'm tipping. It's like this tipping thing. And I just like, oh, that's so good. And then I watch the other one. I'm like, oh, that's so good. And but there's those moments and it paid off. And here's the thing. When you get to the third film, everything pays off. Maybe not as satisfying as the other 2 films, but everything pays off in the end. And you know what? Even the prequels couldn't even match it. And George really tried, and this is why I don't really like what he did with. He did in both trilogies, right? But because he could go back and futz with it, that's the problem that I had with the original trilogy. If he hadn't futzed with it, it was better. Because the desolation of Tatooine was in the fact that it was empty. It was devoid of life, right? But then he filled it with a bunch of CGI bullshit.
Yeah, you were meant to feel desolate out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, okay, that was perfect, and then you futzed with it. So, you need the despecialized version plus the audio. You know what? I'm not going to talk about all this stuff. Look, between A New Hope and Empire, you probably have the closest to a perfect film you could get, I think.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So our friend Joseph Bianowicz says there's an awful lot of moisture in here.
Yeah,
well,
I feel like I was moist a few times. I don't know about.
That's what that was. Okay.
I got waterboarded. That was moist. Does that not count?
I got a rock. Wolf Payne says, wasn't there a love story comic about the handmaiden body double with another Naboo native? It ended with a man saved, but watching her die in Clone Wars.
What?
I don't remember that one.
I know nothing of it.
Was it a comic?
Yeah.
Alora Baga.
Really,
Ask her.
Yeah. You have to ask Alora.
Thank you to Wolf's Pain. He also says, crap, it moved. Where's that? Trying to save her, but watched her die in the end. Oh, so we wanted to clarify. Let me reread that for Wolf's Pain. It says, wasn't there a love story about a comic book, or wasn't there a love story comic about a handmaiden body double with another Naboo native? It ended with him trying to save her, but watches her die in the end. Like we said, you said Alora's the one that's going to be the expert on that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Laura knows all her shit. And that's the one to ask. I'd DM her, but she's probably busy right now.
Or asleep.
Yeah.
Terminus EST, thank you very much, says, culture, speaking of women wanting to be thrown off balance, know why the boss would want you in a maid outfit? She wants you to sweep her off her feet.
Aww. That's weird and awesome simultaneously.
Thank you, Terminus. Not only was that funny, but I'm questioning many things right now.
Your manhood?
Yeah. No. No.
Now get back.
Jack White, thank you very much. He says, did you guys check out One Piece or Demon Slayer yet? Especially since Demon Slayer sold the American comic book industry, or outsold the American comic book industry.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I'm behind on everything. As you guys know, the last month and a half has been just whatever. Oh, but I will survive. Jack White, thank you, though. Phil Booty says, culture. My give up means I have no sex life. The closest thing I have is Mary screaming my name on live streams. More degeneracy.
Phil Booty!
Yeah, well, I'm over 50. So.
Jack White, thank you very much again, says JJCO CEO at Bad Robot is Michelle Obama's former personal assistant. Fun fact. I was not aware of that. Were you guys?
Okay, rewind. What?
JJ's co-CEO at Bad Robot is Michelle Obama's former personal assistant. Fun fact.
It makes so much sense.
I think I'd heard it in passing.
Yeah. No, oh my God. That explains so much. And you know what? If you're Warner right now, if you're a DC fan, I'm sorry.
I get it.
I appreciate that.
El Gallo de Oro says, Mary, will CM Punk ever return to the WWE?
Ooh.
I don't know. Why do people keep asking me this weird ass shit?
AEW, maybe. No.
Is he all elite? Mary, one day you'll learn what that means.
No, I don't wanna. No.
Buffalo Jeff's gonna teach you about wrestling.
Dude, I grew up with it. I used to host. This was funny. Way back in the day when I was in the corporate world, I used to host parties for people that were involved in my team. And they would all come over for the wrestling events, like whatever it was on pay-per-view. I would buy it, and we would all get together and drink, and there was debauchery. It was great, and the boss and I would just host these amazing events. Lots and lots of people. It was so fun. I miss wrestling. I grew up, dude. You remember? I grew up with Hulkamania. I grew up with the very beginnings of WrestleMania, right? And that stuff, man, that stays with you, even though it's wrestling, right? It's so fun. There are events, right? And of course, the natural offshoot to that was, eventually, UFC and stuff like that. But it even goes back farther than that to my dad and my grandpa watching boxing, right? Which were real events, right? Where, people really harming each other in the pursuit of the gladiator competition. And
your soap opera bullshit.
I like the soap opera stuff. I mean, who didn't like Triple H and the
Stephanie?
the romantic relationship that he had with Stephanie and all of that. It was amazing. I love that.
The funny part about what Culture's talking about, Mary, is in the storyline, this guy kidnapped the boss's daughter and married her, and then took over the company and made himself champion. In real life, this guy married the boss's daughter, took over the company, and made himself champion. Like, it 1-to-1. It's incredible how that played out.
It was amazing. It was beautiful, and you know what? It worked out. And you're talking about a brand that, think about how long that survived. I mean, it went from being a wrestling promotion that his dad had, right, to being the biggest, wrestling promotion in the world. It was amazing. And I miss WWE. You have to remember, it used to be WWF, right? And then the World Wildlife Foundation came after him for trademark infringement. I'm like, fuck you very much. It's completely different, but whatever.
I just want to rip my eyeballs out with a spork right now. I don't have any idea what you're talking about. I don't. It's wrestling. It's
shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty.
That's wrestling. Mary, that's when people are like, oh, why do you like wrestling? Shit like that.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. Dude, back then The Rock was freaking amazing. Dude, Stone Cold. Dude, oh my God, that period of time was stupid, dude. D-Generation X, man. Oh.
I could call Culture a thong-wearing fatty right now. It'd be just as funny, all right? I mean, maybe not just as funny because it just got said by somebody else. But I'm just saying, I could call Culture a lot of names. It would be fun.
You know what? Just for you, I'll put on a banana hammock if that's what you want.
No, I never asked for that.
Well, why did you say that?
Because
I'll go get one. You want me to go get a banana hammock?
No. Look, I've been traumatized enough today. Is that not enough for you people?
Mary, does this make you uncomfortable? Does it?
Yeah, more than a little.
Oh, good. It's
I think
like hanging out with Dion twice a week now.
What did I even do to you?
That was the most beautiful moment of the program so far, and we're almost 3 hours in. So I'm intrigued. CC, I'm very intrigued.
Now
Xenomorph Scholar 79 says Buffalo Mary. This should be a thing.
Ooh.
What? No, I don't do.
Can you do Buffalo Mary?
I don't know. I've never tried. Have I tried? I don't think I should. Okay, hold on. What was you gotta be okay. It's creepy. I don't know how one does that. How does one put themselves in a place to do that?
Well, Mary, you have to close your eyes and take yourself to the darkest, most depraved parts of your psyche. Or you just lower your voice
and just say shit to make people really uncomfortable. It always works. Hello, Mary. I hope you're having a good evening.
Oh shit. That's hilarious. Mary's like, please, just let me go.
I want my mom.
Well, Mary, we have a very nice message for you in just a moment. But first, our friend Dix Insider says, come on, Mary, give Blackula a chance. By the way, I haven't decided if I should tell you what I bought you for your surprise or not.
It's not a surprise if you tell me, though.
That's true.
That's true. No longer a surprise.
I like surprises.
Now, June Wong says, great show, guys. Please make the Mary Jeff culture show a thing.
Yay!
I would like that. I really enjoy this dynamic quite a bit.
Oh, I'm having a great time. I'm glad I was invited. This is so fun to talk to people and with people and things I like. So there you are.
We'll have to
Well, we love
assume
having
whatever
you
he
around,
just.
man.
We'll have to assume whatever he just said was nice because I couldn't. It was all robot-y.
Oh,
He
did I
roboted
robot?
out a little.
Oh, I'll stop there. See.
Now, Dr. Blue Box 11 says, thanks for mentioning the Patricy Colors Warner deal. Just canceled my HBO Max and told them exactly why I canceled. Hail the rebooted High Council. Thank you very much for the kind words.
You know, Colors is not a good person, and recently she's been revealed to be such. That particular deal it was not good for Warner Media, and it reveals a lot about them. And of course, she has pulled herself out of BLM, and for good reason. There's a lot of controversy there. She could get into a lot of trouble. The financials behind BLM are being investigated by many entities, not just one. And you are going to find out, where things come from. Hopefully in the coming days. Again, it's going to depend on who's covering it. But there's a lot out there already, including a person who left BLM. Because they don't represent the ideas that they presented, which is to help impoverished people of a particular ethnicity, amongst other things. So there's a lot of stories out there. Just follow the breadcrumbs. It's always about the money. Follow the money in every single thing. Just follow it.
Yeah, it is all about that money. That's what I say in today's video. It's always about the money. Jack White says, Ray going on about BLM, even though BLM approval is going down, check out the Locust Eaters video about what they posted today. So there you go, folks. Lotus Eaters, excuse me. Locust Eaters.
Locust. No. That's what Bill Gates wants you to do. Don't do that.
Oh, dang.
Merlin Zid says, Dear Jeff, leave Mary alone. Sincerely, the man under her bed.
What the fuck? Okay.
I'm under your bed, Mary.
I feel like if I keep my door chain locked.
Does this mic pick up Buffalo Jeff better since it's a new mic?
Dude, it's working very well.
Good. Thank you.
What did I ever do? I didn't do anything.
When we get to the 3-hour mark, I'll pull it back or make it weird. The audience gets to decide. But 007 Cloud says, the cast in general, including the Clue, were abused by the showrunner for Game of Thrones. Watch the video, The Dragon Demands, here on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Take a picture of that one, 007 Cloud. I always, even though I'm not a Game of Thrones fan, I'd like to learn about some behind-the-scenes shit. So
he borderlines on that sometimes.
Yeah, and I'm not a Geode fan either. Just
007 Cloud also says some examples would be gaslighting. People would not know which scripts were real or fake. People would not know their character was killed off or not.
It's true.
Isn't that kind of like the shit they pull at Lucasfilm where they're not going to tell people, oh, we can't tell you about the movie. We got to keep the mystery box. It's like, I work in the marketing department. I'm writing the novelization. I kind of need to know.
I have to know. Yeah.
Well, but that's and it's the ongoing joke here in our group of humans. I'm not going to use the C word, which is community. I'm going to use that. But in our group of humans, the reason we say that they're continually writing the films is because they keep trying to revise them so they make sense in literature.
Yeah.
So you didn't do a good job telling the story the first time. The other 4 times have, come up short.
Only since made it more confusing.
Yeah. Just stop. You failed. You failed cinematically and every other time. And, everything that's come out since has been disappointing, right? Project Luminous yielded the highly repugnant, right? Which no one has any interest in. And and we're still bombing the crap out of that on YouTube, right? And Disney and many other entities don't want to acknowledge the fact that they're getting downvoted into oblivion because we're not.
Well, shoot, they're trying to turn that shit off, right? They're literally trying to turn that shit off.
Yeah, but guess what? So they turn it off. Your comment section is going to get obliterated, which it's already being done. So then you turn that off, and guess what? Then you're done. You've admitted defeat because now you will have 1,800 views. By the way, if I ever get 1,800 views, I'm going to jump up and down. Well, okay, a couple of my videos have gotten 1,800 views, but if I ever get 1,800 views, it'd be great. Regularly. Someday I'm going to be Jeff. It's going to happen.
You can do it.
I don't know when. 40 years from now. But it could happen. I'll be dead.
I was going to say, you would probably be dead, right?
Shut up, Mary.
What?
I need that clip. Somebody send me the clip of "Shut Up, Mary." I'll make it a button.
I'm just saying, in 40 years.
He could be 99 or whatever.
You're you know what? That didn't help, Jeff. But you're a big meanie. You're a big meanie, Mary.
No, I'm not. I'm not a meanie. I'm the nice one. I'm the nice one.
You know what, Jeff? I think Jeff should do Buffalo Jeff for the rest of the show because now
Okay, Mary,
you know what?
Mary, you've crossed a line. You've offended our friend, Culture Casino. You assumed he wouldn't live long, but he has a much longer life than you.
Okay.
I love you people. Oh my God.
Merlin's Id says Al Franken didn't actually grow up anyone. It was a mime gag. Okay. I just remember it was something with a touching a boob. I mean,
something happened, dude. He got in trouble in things times a lot because he's not anything anymore.
Matt G says the first Avengers film final battle is pretty great. Matt G, I argue that's the best Avengers film still. Going back and watching it, it's got the most rewatchability, and it's so well paced out and epic.
The first film?
Yeah. The first Avengers film.
Well, think about it. It's the personality of all of the characters revealed, right? It's like you knew the characters, and then they were fully on display and they interacted in a way that was believable. Can't do better than that.
Yeah. It felt nice. It felt full.
Organic. This is a word we should, continue to use because they don't understand it.
True.
Now, we have good news. Valiant Renegade's alive. He says after 23 years, Mrs. Renegade is a good sport.
I would hope so. He's still living.
23 years. Dude, you're getting close to me.
I mean,
Mary knows how long that's been. It's been a long time.
It's impressive.
Yeah. We also we have a few more folks, and then we're going to close out our show tonight. Our friend Jack White says, also, don't forget that Sana Amanat had a job at Marvel because of her family ties to the Clintons and the Obamas.
It's also true.
Shit's getting hard to tell apart.
It's not who you know. It's not what you know, it's who you know, folks.
You know what I watched a couple of weeks
ago?
Or
kick up your knees for, right? Kamala Harris? Oh, hey now.
I was watching The Bodyguard a few weeks ago. I forced Andrew to watch it with me, and they made this joke about how politics had just like sort of infiltrated Hollywood, right? And this is in The Bodyguard back in the day, and it was crazy because the joke was, they're one and the same now, right? They're literally the same thing now, right? And how did they see this coming? I didn't see this coming to this extent.
Okay, so you have to consider that the integration of entertainment and media came about in the Clinton administration. You had people who crossed over from the Clinton White House immediately into entertainment via the Aaron Sorkin project that was The West Wing. So, and all of that was born out from Dick Morris's divisive political ideology that he apologizes for, and then of course he flips sides because essentially it became about the politics of division. So the idea was creating, and this is his word for it, wedge issues and building coalitions, which is how we ended up where we are now. It was that plus, some of the ideology that came out of the colleges of the time that ended up with the Marxism side of things. So, yeah. So now we're married to it from two different fronts, and that puts us where we are now. So, anyway, sorry. That's this crap I don't get to talk about on my channel.
Culture. I invite you on the channel for a reason, dude. You got a lot of great insights. Stop apologizing when you do exactly what I'm hoping you do.
I know, but it's hard because I feel like I'm losing everybody when I start talking about this stuff, because it's like, how do you tie those things together? And it's like, well, it's pretty simple. I mean, you got Aaron Sorkin. He did this. He did this. He did this. I mean, he made American President. He made, his influence now. He probably himself considers to be a mistake. I mean, at least based on his classical liberalism, he's got to see it from that side of things because of where we are now. It's a weird place. If you're in Hollywood right now, you have to be walking through a minefield trying to avoid stuff because you're going to step on one. And I wouldn't want to be involved in the industry right now, the way it is. Let's put it that way. That's why I want to create independent content like you did, Jeff. Like, with the film I want to make, the short film I want to make is going to end up being, according to Script Doctor, a feature because it's like 86 minutes long.
So wow, that's really long.
Yeah, but it's my ideas are, let's make these things, let's create these things, and let's skip Hollywood. It's really easy to do. Anyway, I guess it doesn't matter. But I like I said, I appreciate being here. I often feel like sometimes I offer information that nobody cares about. So.
That's not true. That's true.
Yeah.
Never worry about it. Like I said, the invite keeps coming all the time for a reason.
Well, I understand. Thank you for that.
So Valiant Renegade says Culture's peanut hammock. What?
No, peanut. That's not right, dude. You all right?
No.
Well, let's just move on because Runs with Phantoms says I have a very disturbing Buffalo Jeff joke about Memorial Day. Should I post it or should I
love this.
Or would it be going too far?
No. Read it.
He's got to send the joke. That was the super chat. So Runs with Phantoms, if you want to send it to Scare and Mary, that'd be great.
What?
Now, look at Mary. You're free from bullshit right now. Our friend Andrew Clark says, bring on Aiden Paladin. Lots of comic knowledge. Folks, if you guys have recommendations for High Council guests, we would love them. I will start to see about the communication lines. That's something we always love to have fun comic topics. So, yeah, I'm always interested. And I always like to meet somebody new. You can make a cool friend.
Yay!
Mindless Entertainment sent in a super chat that says, Buffalo Jeff, please sing that song from The Bodyguard.
You are supposed to be my friend.
Bittersweet memories. That is all I'm taking with me. So goodbye. Please don't cry. We both know I'm not what you need. and I will always love you.
You want more? I can do the Whitney. I can't get my voice that high. Holy shit! If I could, that'd be.
And I will always love you.
That was beautiful.
Super Nate says, looks down at her. Do it. Do it. Runs with Phantom says,
Memorial Day was super special. I love men in uniform. It's just a pain in the ass to get the soil stains off my overalls.
Dude, oh my God. Okay, no matter what, I have to create something. I'm going to spend hours like clipping video stuff so I can do that because it would be ridiculous.
oh, I love this dynamic. We have one more super chat that we're going to close it out. Super Nate says the dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities, some considered to be unnatural. Oh,
It's true.
Like anal. No, I'm just joking. Is that your Star Wars sex quote right there? The unnatural. It's a good one.
No.
Andrew Clark also says Aiden is pro Fandom Menace, Comicsgate, and a Trekkie. Oh well, I will reach out then. That's like the trifecta. Even though I wouldn't call myself a Trekkie, I respect Star Trek. I'm a Star Wars guy. Like if the battle lines have to be drawn, Mary, where do you lie? Star Wars, Star Trek?
Oh, Star Wars. My dad's the Trekkie. Though he introduced me to Star Wars. He introduced me to both. I could have gone either way. I just loved the fantasy element to Star Wars so much more. But I am also dead, so what do I know?
Culture. What about you, dude?
Which part of what? Say it again, because I'm like the dead part was. I'm sorry, I was distracted by the ridiculousness. Go ahead, please.
Star Trek versus Star Wars. Where does your alliance lie, or your allegiance?
This sucks. This is the problem. I grew up, so I was subjected to everything, right? But the biggest moment in my life was still when, an alliance ship was fleeing from a destroyer at the very beginning of A New Hope. You can't change that, no matter how many times I've seen the original Trek series that I was, exposed to at the in nearly the same time. So but I love them both. That's the weird thing. I'm not one of those either or guys, right? Not an either or guy, and so but Star Wars still edges out my love of Star Trek. But God, I love Star Trek. I will fight for good Star Trek. It's possible for a Star Trek to recover if they can get away from secret fucktards. Did I say that out loud?
Yes, but that's okay.
Shit.
So, Mary.
Yeah.
Actually, hold on. Culture Casino. We had an awesome time with you. We've reached the end of the High Council. Where can the audience find you, and what do you got coming up to tell them about?
Oh, okay. So, Culture Casino is my YouTube channel. I'm also on Odyssey. Guys, check out Odyssey. Even if it's not me, go over there. It's worth it. And if you check me out on Odyssey, that'd be great because I would love to have more subscribers over there. And I think it's a path for the future. I think a lot of people will probably agree. I'm also on Twitter at Culture Casino and Minds at Culture Casino. And if I ever do anything, well, actually, I'm on Locals, but I've done shit with that on Culture Casino over there. Tomorrow is a video I'm releasing on mergers and acquisitions and the possibility of the future as far as Hollywood is concerned. My focus is always on entertainment, and pop culture from the business side of things. So that's why I cover that kind of stuff. So it's a little different than what you normally see, but in the same vein of everything that you see with the people I hang out with. So check it out. It's a lot of fun. And, I have a lot to say as far as that aspect of things go. And I want to say thank you to people like Jeff and Mary and many, many, many others who make it possible for me to do what I do, because without them, I wouldn't be here to begin with. There was a lot of inspiration from everybody here on this panel and everywhere else. So thank you very much.
Culture, we love having you, man. So thank you for spending all this time with us tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mary Mayhem, where can everyone find you on the internet? And what you got coming up?
You can find me in a coffin. I will be hanging out with my mama and my teddy bear. You can find me over on my channel, Mary Mayhem, where I talk about newsy news stuff during the week. On the weekend, I have a little bit of fun. This tomorrow night will be Wednesday Night Mayhem over on my channel, as well as, of course, on the weekend, Saturday Night Shenanigans, where Jeff and Jesse will be joining me this weekend.
Yeah.
Which I'm super looking forward to. And you can also find me over on Twitch, where I do some gaming, and I am only like 6 followers away from 500. Which I'm very proud of. I built that from the ground up on Twitch, all on my little lonesome. And so I'm really, really, really proud of that. So if you guys could, please follow me over on Twitch. A follow would make my absolute day over there. I'm so close to being able to celebrate 500 followers over there. So, yay!
So, folks, make sure you are subscribed to Mary and Culture on all their platforms and check out all their content. Here, this is the World Class Bullshitters channel, which I run. We have a video that just dropped today. It's doing well, so check that out. It is on Star Wars and J.J. Abrams' plan, but it's not just yelling into the void. I go into a little more of the business side of it. I found a really interesting business article about why companies should do their homework and what happens when they don't. And spoiler alert, Star Wars, Disney didn't like to do their homework. So it's always fun to call them out on their shit.
It was great, dude. I loved it. And you did what I would do, which is cover it from that side. It was beautiful, man. That was awesome. Awesome video.
Thank you. See, the thing is, that's the fun part for me. It's to take that angle, because not everybody is taking that angle. So I'm having fun with it. But folks, I will be working on another video. I will try to get it out for Thursday, and we will have the podcast this Thursday. We're getting closer to episode 300, so get excited for that. We'll have something very special when we drop that episode. And I will be returning back to Ohio for a little bit to visit some family, go to a wedding. So you guys will be on the road with me. Be prepared for some fun extra streams. I'll be in person with the guys finally, the first time since 2019. Aww. And just be on the lookout for that kind of stuff. We're trying to get in contact with Mary and everyone that's local in the area as well. So it'll be a fun summer, and then that'll kind of culminate all the way at Star Trek Celebration in Vegas, where we'll be. So you can come meet us, come hang out, and then your comics will be there. So everything will be cool too. So this is an awesome summer for the Fandom Menace, World Class Bullshitters, and everyone involved in the community. So from all of us here in the Fandom Menace, thank you for watching. Be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other.